Radio Shack? Okay.
What?
The 80s called.
Welcome to the CoCo Nation, the world's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy color computer and its hardware cousins. Hello, I'm David Ladd, and welcome to the CoCo Nation Show.
What a way to start the show.
Hello,
Featuring David
everybody.
Hello.
We survived.
Ooh.
Oh, let's see. Episode 310. The CoCo Fest wrap-up, or hangover, or hey, we survived.
We survived.
We did.
Yep. Let's see. Who we got on here today? Mark Oberhoser. How you doing?
Howdy, glad to be here. Made it back safely.
Good. And Rick Euland.
Also back. Howdy, folks.
You got familiar surroundings behind you. And yours truly in the corner. Next up, Fred Pravancha.
Hi, everybody.
And in the center square, we got Ron Delvaux.
Yes, I'm back, and I got pictures, and I got a couple of goodies.
You know, what happens in Chicago is supposed to stay in Chicago.
No, I didn't leave anything there.
That's a lot of
Left it all in
expensive and
Toledo.
rare equipment to leave behind.
Left it all in Toledo.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next over, Kevin Holloway. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Just came to see what I missed.
All right, bottom row, we got Jason CoCoMan.biz.
And speaking of CoCoMan.biz, behind me there's the CoCoMan.biz sign that my brother Ken made me that I forgot to bring with me this year.
That's what was missing.
Guess who doesn't get a Christmas card?
I brought my brother, but not the sign. I guess we just can't have both.
Oh, well, we liked your brother anyway.
And since we're in Hollywood Squares mode, I'll take Ron Delvaux to block.
Next time, can we just bring the sign?
Yeah, it'll be easier.
I'll just mail the sign.
Cheaper to feed. Let's see. Bottom row, we also have Sloopy Malibu.
Greetings.
And last but not least, the Thunder from Down Under, Nick
Hey,
Marentes.
everyone. Yep, I started swimming but didn't get there in time, so I had to turn back.
Okay.
Maybe next year.
You want the front door and turned around, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Well, let's see. Now where'd we go?
night,
Okay,
everybody.
closing credits.
It's only been 2 weeks. He already lost the script.
Yeah.
Good.
Doesn't look like we're gonna see much Curtis. He's probably still sleeping it off.
He said
Not
he'd join
still
later.
driving.
I think Ken is still on his way home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's still on his way home.
Well, Curtis takes the scenic route. He went from Chicago to, South Carolina, and then back to Canada. It's the scenic route.
Well, this is an episode where we can talk about Curtis. So lay the mud down.
Okay. I see in the chat he says Ken just left. It's his house. So I guess he needs some groceries, so he'll be back on a little later. Oh, let's see. What else we got in here? We got 8 Bits in the Basement, Mark Siegel. Can make it. Tim Franklin. There's
Ken
Curtis
did make it.
again.
Ken made it, but he didn't make it to the show.
Oh, he made it to CoCo Fest.
But his sign didn't.
Yeah, he forgot to make a sign. So
Let's see, CoCo Fest. Well, I do have the new the pictures we took in the slideshow in the bottom of the screen.
I have some stuff to share, so
Okay.
Let's start there.
All right. Let's do. Let's see. Push button here and push this button right here. Gee, I guess that one just comes to a sudden end.
Oops.
okay, well,
Something got clipped.
I set up at the show, and I had this box, and this box is from 2002, and Boise sent it to me from wherever he lives. Anyway, his name's right here, right there. In 2002, I bought it for $50, and he comes by and he sees the box on the table, and so let me share now. Share screen. Do you see?
Yeah.
The same box.
Yeah.
From back in 2002, and it's before I had the shipping label on it. And he says, that computer right there, I remember sending to you, and this is the picture of it. And he has other pictures. And so he asked me if I had it and would I sell it. So I'm not at home, so I can't look at the computers. But when I did come home, I looked and I could not find this particular computer. I took pictures of mine and could not find the same number. So I posted on my Ron's Garage that if someone finds, let's see where I put it. This one. This is the number. 129,980. I don't have it. And I don't remember giving any computer away or selling one. The only one I gave away was to Paul Barton. Yeah, and he gave it back to me. Well, I got it back when he passed away. So I put this up. I said, let me know if I gave you a Color Computer 3 over the last 3 years or sold it to you, because I'm looking for the serial number. So if anyone out there has it, it'd be cool to actually, point it toward Boise so he could have it. I don't know, like, how much he would get it for now. It's not going to be $50 probably. But anyways, went to the show. It was fabulous. I think Glenside did a great job. They really did.
Definitely.
And I'm going to leave it up to you guys to take a look at this video that Antonio did. Got to meet him, got to talk to him for a long while. He did a great job. Setting this thing up, drawing the picture, I guess, and doing the video. The music is so, but he did a good job.
Ron Delvaux, critical of music? No, that never happens.
No, it never happens. Yeah. I went to the CoCo VGA area, and they were playing some of my 128 by 96 pixel pictures that I put together. Yeah. And it was good to see. And this was the sign up front. And there's Antonio.
I missed that.
And various people. I guess I'll just go quickly through. Boise,
First one was Tim
the
Linder.
boys. Yeah, some of these aren't real clear, but you just do the best you can do. Oh, look.
Look at that.
Yes.
Who's the
And
guy with the
Dino
beard?
Ron.
Tim Franklin. John Laurie.
I got to spend some good time with John. He's a great guy. Yeah. He has this apple infection. I hope he gets cleared up.
I don't know. I think he's getting paid.
Maybe. And then this is the show. This monitor was awesome with all the stickers on it and everything. And it's so stinking old. I just stared at it for a while, tried to look at all the stuff on it. This here, I forget this guy's name, but he had some goodies on the table I bought. I was able to get this and the sound and speech packet from him.
Yeah,
which,
that's Fabian.
Yeah, okay. Great guy.
Yes, he is.
Yep. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I got these two items. This was the what was that? That was the
Conference room?
That was help me out.
Hey, there I am.
Yeah,
Fred.
Fred gave a presentation.
Was that my presentation? That
Yes, it was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
On the control panel. Yeah.
I don't know how many people took pictures, but it's very limited. Anyway, this had nothing to do with our show. This was a demo of a socially distant demo. You press the foot pedal down below there, and you get a new feature of the Three Stooges coming up on this pie. So I guess the only thing that, well, there's a CoCo pie sitting there, but I don't think it had anything to do with anything. But it was interesting to see. I did try it. It did work. David Ladd's set up. And this guy here worked on a CoCo, and
Who's that?
he wound up breaking something.
I
Oh,
later
no.
fixed it.
Yeah, it's too much hair for David Ladd.
Look. Oh,
Sacrilege.
Ouch. Look at that. Look.
yes.
He did it
I
with
broke
green.
another one.
No wonder I couldn't get any work. There was that guy doing it all.
He was just there to break seals. That's all.
It was good. Dino Wars, that was a great thing. It was all wrinkled until he stretched it, and then it looked great. Kind of like us. Here,
Well, it folds up into a little pack that's like 12 by 12 by 36.
we always see this guy on our show, doing things to make the show work and everything, but we never see him work on CoCo's. And this was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, we were troubleshooting that particular CoCo.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
I can't remember his name, but he's
local.
he's actually
He's a local. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a local
Oh, yeah?
in the Chicago area. He's in the he's commonly at the VCF Midwest, and he comes to the CoCo Fest also.
Oh, good for him. Hope he sees it.
Yeah.
There he is working away, and
Trying to make some sparks and
yeah,
little
smoke
zit
them up.
noises.
Letting the magic smoke out.
It did buzz pretty loud when he plugged
Yeah.
it in, turned it on. It was
He's trying to make some SEDs, smoke emitting diodes.
Oh, there's David Ladd.
This was Paul Barton's computer I had set up at CoCo Nation table, and boy, it looks like you had the show.
I was I was playing our previous show.
Oh, okay, cool.
Since we couldn't really do a live one, I put something up.
That one's fuzzy, but this guy here is really interesting to talk to.
Oh, that's Strick.
Yeah, he's and look at the clothes on this guy.
Aaron.
And
So
I just want it said that he did not leave the hotel room looking like that.
no.
Not on my watch.
Yeah, these kids were cool.
Oh yeah, those were the battery operated CoCos that
Yeah.
were running off like
That's
drill
Charlie.
batteries.
Yeah.
Yep, Charlie.
More
Did you see
Cocoa
that the
Pie
CoCo
area.
3 has a wireless transmitter for the video? So there's a
I
receiver.
did.
This one?
Pretty cool.
I got some video of that wireless video.
Oh, that's right.
And you were there, Marco.
That's right, I was.
And you were there.
And you?
And
There's our
David
buddy-
Ladd was
Kansas.
there.
Our buddy from the other show. Buddies. And this, well, that keyboard belongs to Brian, right? Shoebring?
Shoebring? I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then this is the back of his setup there. He had quite a setup. My son was infatuated with it. This is a repack. Really nicely done.
Henry's.
Check it out. Looks nice, don't it? Is that wood grain? Faux wood grain?
Who else do we know that has a wood grain retro PC?
I smell bias here.
And I don't know why this was there. Has nothing whatsoever to do with the CoCo.
What
One of
is
those,
It
Just,
does because it has a CoCo
that
disk
on.
drive on it.
It has a what?
It has
Disk drive on top.
has a CoCo disk drive connected to it.
What is
Really?
it?
It's a
It's
Neb.
Naboo, isn't it?
Nabu, yeah. It only gets software from a hookup to a faux internet connection, right?
Well,
One apparently.
it would get it through the cable television network.
Okay, there you go. Someone that knows something spoke up. All right.
The whole thing sounded kind of like a Canadian version of the, what was it, Nextel system that France had, where you could look information up, but it had to be connected up to your
You guys know this guy?
Yeah, that's
Reichfeld.
Henry Brightfield.
Well, he picked this up for cheap, I guess. And he just brought it and set it in.
Is that the CTR 80 prototype?
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, that's why it fits in here, I guess. Anyway, this was a computer that they must have upgraded and they're testing it.
El
Yep.
Presidente.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the buttons on that thing. Oh, and I was giving these out. I don't know if you guys got any, but I passed as all I had out at the show. Free.
Got mine behind me.
Absolutely free.
Thank you,
More
Ron.
thing-
I got one too.
Yep.
And
more
at no charge either.
That's right. Didn't charge a soul.
It was also the price was also gratis
yeah.
and
somehow-
complimentary.
I
I
somehow.
only have a Coco 2.
Oh God!
This guy here
Turn it away.
Who's this schmuck?
rarely looked up.
Looks like he's breaking more things than Mark B did.
No, I was fixing someone else's quality work.
This here says from Chris Lucky, does he know what he is doing?
I don't think so. Yeah, someone had they tried to replace their 6809 with a 6309, and let's just say they need a little bit more experience with the
Now-
soldering.
Yeah, this was the pie department, and there was no lemon meringue to be found.
Pie.
Yeah.
But they
sorry
scrubbed
for the
green.
smears. Look at those shirts. Sitting there waiting to be taken. Look at that. I saw that and I thought, geez, I'd like one of those, but I didn't have time to go back and get one.
Well, ask Tim for one.
That's a screen, with lettering going across real quick. And this is Rick Adams' area.
Can't tell, can you?
So do we need to make CoCoFest an actual entire week? So we
Yep.
have time to see everything?
I think so.
At least add a couple days.
He's pointing to his phone. I don't know why. I forget.
Hey, I've been saying that you should have a full day Saturday and Sunday, but people won't listen to me.
That's Ron Klein. And that's Marquette. Mark.
Yep, Mark Marlette.
Yeah,
My
Marlette.
preference would be to start it on Friday. Because a lot of people, regardless what you do, a lot of people are gonna need to leave Sunday in order to go back home anyway, so.
You see what that is, don't you?
Ah, yeah, that's a Gamester.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna order one.
Neil Blanchard's.
Yep.
Yep.
And there's a lot of carts over here for sale and stuff.
Yeah, I bought a bunch from him.
Yeah, I looked down on them and I thought, geez, if I had some time, I'd go through and see what I wanted. But I never did much.
And now he has a whole bunch of joysticks.
Well, yeah, this is just some of the show. The CoCo men are back there. Yeah. Look at that. Root beer.
Well, that's not David Ladd's setup because that's a root beer, not a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Look at there.
Ooh, beer.
There's a door on that CM8.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, that's a rarity. He could sell that for like a couple thousand.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know what I got.
Oh no, that's similar to my box, but it's not my box. Yeah, there's that TV again.
Ooh.
Sitting up on the CoCo. Some goodies pasted on it. Oh. I think this is it. And then what else did I have? Yeah, oh, look at her smile. I thought that was a good
There's
smile.
a nice
That's my
lady.
wife.
Yeah. She was enjoying herself. A couple times I asked him, where's your wife? He says she's upstairs watching TV or doing that stuff upstairs. Here's some more stuff. This was yeah, I told you already. This is Amy's Taylor and Amy's thing. They had a whole tablecloth set up with their logo on it. They had little stickers you could pick up, and it's pretty cool.
Lots of swag.
Yeah, there's the CoCo VGA outfit. This guy here kept following me around. It's a little strange.
Beard Wars.
Look at that. Mr. Gimes himself.
Another perpetrator.
Yeah. And he got a sticker. Isn't that cool?
That is.
Oh yeah.
That's nifty. Yep, there they are.
Snazzy track suits.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I guess that's what they have at the West Virginia Walmart.
I had no words. I was
Them in their
outside.
pajamas.
I was outside looking for the votive car. I didn't see it.
I don't think they can afford to drive it all the way.
Wire free CoCo. Look at this kid looking, reaching out.
It's Charlie.
Yeah. And
That's
she
pretty-
is awesome to talk to if you ever get a chance to talk to her. That's Donna Heath's kid.
Yep.
Yep. She's very smart. I think she's 16.
Yeah, just like her father.
Yep. Check out that jacket. You guys ever see this jacket close up? Nitrous 09, multi-pack,
Drive wire.
yeah, bit banger,
Drive wire.
OS9.
Diet
pretty
Dr.
cool.
Pepper.
Yeah. So that's it, I think. Oh, there's the box I had that Boise came by and looked at. You know, the same one I had here. I had it right out in front.
What's inside it?
It's just the foam. I put
Oh,
my cocoa pie in it when I brought it, and then
right.
I also brought Paul Barton's computer.
Right. Yeah.
I guess it isn't all. Yeah, it was all. I showed those. Okay, so I want to thank Glenside. I want to thank Terry Steggy for giving me the ability to set up next to on the CoCo Nation
table.
Yeah, appreciate that. So thanks, guys. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I don't think anybody was mad at anybody or anything. I invited the CoCo crew guys to come on sometime. And I didn't get a no, I'll never come. Leave me alone, you creep. They didn't say anything like that.
That's something.
We didn't even get a visit from the fire department.
No.
Hey, all the elevators kept working.
What's
From what I understand, from Grant, the fire department showed up a day before. I said, good to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
They were there Friday morning, and they were going over the emergency rules with all the staff. I've actually got pictures of it.
So I did see when I was leaving on Monday, I'm assuming the alarm people were looking at the control panel. I was really tempted to tell them that thing has to be broken since we didn't get a visit this weekend.
All right.
Did anyone go to Portello's? I did not make it. That's the first trip to Chicago in a long time that I didn't go to Portello's.
I went.
I've never been.
Well,
I had the Italian meat one that was meat and sausage. It was good.
I don't know. Like I can't even think about where I ate. I mean, like on Sunday, my brother Ken and Fred and I just ended up at some random like sports bar restaurant down the road. It's like, oh, this will work.
Oh, is that when I ate my meatball sandwich before you guys?
I had White Castle.
Huh. I had White Castle one, I think the first day for lunch, and I kind of regret it. I mean, I like White Castle usually, but this kind of sat in my stomach like a rock. Holy cow.
Well, they they're called sliders, so you would think it would be the opposite.
Yeah, they go right through.
Yeah,
David Ladd brought me a bunch of fries from there, and they were pretty good.
Yeah, I really like White Castle, but there's none around me. I mean,
same here.
It's like an hour and a half drive away, and so usually when I go out to Chicago, I'll stop in Indy and go there. But I didn't stop this year. But fortunately, there was one right in front of the hotel.
Yeah, walking distance.
Yeah,
the same here. There was a White Castle in the town I grew up in New York, and since moving out to Utah, they don't have them out here. So whenever I go back east, I try to hit up a White Castle. Although the last time I visited New York, I took my family to White Castle, to show them what it was like. And my son couldn't keep it down.
Yeah. In the car?
Oh, no, we were in the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah, they sell them.
Did not like it at all.
Yeah, they sell them in the store here in the frozen section, so I get them because I really like them. But they're better fresh because the rolls are like slightly toasted. So,
I mean, it's okay. I didn't stop there at the one in Chicago. I mean, the last one I went to was in Indiana back in, I guess, October or September, whenever I went to Holiday World, and it was okay. But I'm not going to go out of my way for White Castle. It's okay though.
Yeah. It's not like a great restaurant, but it's something a little different compared to the usual common ones. And
all right, now listen. Speaking of food and the CoCo show, what did you guys think of the meal?
I didn't know the CoCo show provided food.
I ate at I paid for it.
Oh, at CoCo Fest.
No,
I thought you meant Boat and Aaron had food somewhere I
No.
didn't know about.
Sorry,
The CoCo show. Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
I was there. The food was fine. I mean, it's what I expected, and I was there more for the camaraderie of being able to dine with my fellow coconuts than I was. The food was fine, and but I was there more for the experience.
Yeah. Speaking of which, while they're not here, I think we should have a vote to oust them. I mean, when I go to CoCo Fest, I expect some Canadian candy, and there was no Canadian candy.
There was quite the story, though.
There was an attempt for Canadian candy, but it all went
it's
wrong.
wandering around in a truck somewhere with no tracking. No one knows where it's at, but it's wandering around somewhere in a.
I thought
UPS has a surplus of Canadian candy somewhere.
I don't want to hear any excuses. I want my Canadian candy.
Didn't Curtis bring some Kit Kats for somebody?
Yeah,
I think he did.
No, that's what's driving around Canada. We don't know where it's at. We don't know where it's going.
No, I mean, Curtis
there.
Isn't here to defend himself, but I mean, he just forgot them, and then he had them shipped.
Attempt
to have them shipped overnight, and then it got delayed during I think because of weather, and now who knows where they are in the UPS system.
Yeah,
Probably got eaten.
Considering they're in Canada, one place they're definitely not at is in the melted mess.
Right?
Yeah.
Nicely more likely frozen solid.
Curtis says that's still an ongoing thing.
Is it really?
Right.
So
like the AirTag videos. Where is it now?
So we've a couple of us or four of us went out to, I think it was lunch one day. We found this really great little restaurant not very far from the hotel called Carol's Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent restaurant, especially for breakfast, but they had a pretty big menu choice, pretty big plate sizes. Even I couldn't finish it.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
I mean, I just had breakfast at the hotel, so.
Oh, you were the fourth one? So I know it was Ken.
It was me, Ken, you, and the person that sat across from me.
Yes. Brian.
Brian Weissler. So
in fact, I went back Monday morning for breakfast.
On
my way out. And had what Brian had for lunch.
My son came up for the show, which was good. And then afterwards we went to a restaurant and bought a deep dish pizza, but it cost $50.
Holy
and
wow.
You know, at first he orders it, you know, naturally. And we sit down and we're eating it and I go, you're paying for this, or who's paying for this? And he goes, I'll pay for it. Then when the bill came, I looked at it, I go, no, I better pay for it. And I brought it home and I told my sister how much I paid for it. She goes, let me try it. She wanted to try $50 pizza. One piece is how much? Depends on how big they cut it.
We had some deep dish pizza. What was that? When did we
2 years ago?
Friday.
2 years ago.
Right now, well, we went.
I was going to ask if anyone had any deep dish pizza while they were out there.
Yeah, who was there? I mean, I know I was there, and
we had
Your
two
brother
tables.
Ron
worth
was
of
there,
people.
weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, me and Lori was there.
Yeah, because we went to, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was a deep dish pizza
It
place,
was,
and you had a
Gino's.
meatball hoagie.
It was Gino.
Oh, Gino's East. That's right.
Right.
And you went to the pizza place and had a meatball hoagie.
Yeah, me and Lori, we both did. Yeah, and we got to eat first, and they were watching us eat before
Well,
the
deep
pizza
dish
came.
takes a long time to cook, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there
All
he is. There's the Canadian candy
He made it.
fella right there on your
I had to grab
screen.
something to eat. Yeah, the candy thing. Wow.
He's still,
I could spend an entire 6-hour episode on just that.
Candy gate.
So,
Candy
I'm a little
Gates.
confused. I don't know what's going on. What is there something different about Kit Kats in Canada, or am I?
Yes, we have flavors you guys don't have, and as Jason will tell you, the milk chocolates of a much better quality as well.
Well, yes, because Kit Kats in every country in the world except the United States are made by Nestle. But in the United States, the license is to Hershey, and it tastes like a totally different candy bar. The even just the plain Canadian Kit Kats are far superior to their American version.
Didn't they used to taste better? Like back in the day, like
it's always been Hershey here. When
Yeah.
my first trip to Canada, I bought a Kit Kat, and I'm like, "What is this? This is wonderful."
Nestle is always superior to Hershey, no matter what they make.
That's because in Canada they use chocolate, and in the United States they use chocolate flavored sugar.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Although I'll say this though, I have seen more flavors of Kit Kats here in the States than they're used to.
Yeah, there's a few extra ones I saw on the trip too. You're still missing a bunch of the good
dark
ones.
chocolate Kit Kats and white chocolate Kit Kats and
Yeah, but you guys don't have Nanaimo or Nanaimo squares and Black Forest cake flavors and all those other stuff we have.
What's the other one they have? What is it? Poutine flavored Kit Kats?
No, that's a type of chip.
Curds and gravy and Kit Kats. That would be awesome.
You can get poutine flavored chips from several different manufacturers up here. So,
and ketchup too, I'm sure.
No, the whole thing was I bought all the candy. There's 7 people. Some are on the panel here that had ordered, and I usually do this every year for a certain choice of people because otherwise I'd fill my car with nothing but. Because of the terrible weather that was happening literally the night before we were leaving and the day of, as William Astle reported in the Discord, I was scrambling on the morning. So I went to go check the normal path we take to go to the States and the normal portal, completely closed. All the roads within like 500 kilometers or 300 miles were completely closed down because there was an ice storm, 90-kilometer-hour winds, 2 feet of snow, freezing rain, and basically they shut the portal down, they shut all the highways down. So then I was starting to go through and trying to find alternative routes. I printed out maps of 2, couldn't use either one of them because by the time we got that far over, they were shut down too because the storm kept moving. So basically in my turmoil of trying to figure out alternative ways to get there, and I had to go, grab Canon, we had to get on the road type thing. I completely forgot them in the fridge because I keep them there so they don't get melted and soft and wrecked.
We appreciate
And it was one of my roommates here about 3-4 hours later texted me, you forgot your chocolate bars here, do you? Oh, no. And we've been driving on completely frozen highways. Like it took us the 3 or 4 hours to go maybe 80, 90 miles because we were driving at 20, 30 miles an hour. Then there was a semi jackknife across the road. So we had to detour around that. And so I contemplated very briefly about trying to drive back, but I mean, it was getting worse. I mean, the storm was just getting worse. The path we'd already taken up to that point had gotten worse. They were shutting more highways down. So we just decided to finally ditch. And I said, I'll get one of my roommates to courier them over. So she went to UPS on Friday and paid on my behalf for Saturday delivery to get them down to Chicago, which was the plan. Well, the UPS truck just has to clear customs in Winnipeg. So I have to drive it to Winnipeg and then it clears customs and it goes down. Well, it got in the same storm as everything else. So that got delayed. So that didn't make it. And then UPS started, quite honestly, bald-faced lying about what the status of the package because we were going to be in Chicago until Monday morning. So I said, well, if you guys can get it here Sunday, I can still give it to most of the people here because most people aren't flying back till later. But we had no updates. It was just saying, we'll update you once we know something. And that was my extent of my tracking that I could get on this stupid thing. And then on Monday, we had to head out to Memphis because we were going to go down to see Taylor and Amory. They were popping over to Knoxville to see the Vintage Geeks Museum. That was a great thing. Well, Ken and I will talk about that when he's able to come on next week. And we kept trying to track the package. I put it a forward on Monday. Monday at 1:43 p.m. I got the email saying, yes, we've now rerouted the package. It'll go to Memphis and you'll get it there. Well, by the end of day Wednesday, Thursday morning, still not there. And then we were phoning, trying to figure out where the package was. And Maureen, who was at the show too, with Taylor, was helping us because she has a lot more experience with this kind of stuff than I do. And she finally got us escalated to a supervisor. We were told on Wednesday that it was going to be delivered by 10:20 or 10:30 in the morning. And of course, nothing happened. And then she managed to get escalated up to a different supervisor because they were saying, yeah, it's in the Memphis facility, ready, or it's already on the truck. It should be delivered soon. And nothing happened. And she got escalated to a supervisor, and the supervisor went and checked. It hadn't left Chicago yet. It's still sitting in Chicago. They actually tried to deliver it to the hotel where CoCoFest was Wednesday afternoon. So none of the change address stuff went through at all. And then it sat there. And basically, it finally, I got an update yesterday as we were pulling to Saskatoon, or on the road to Saskatoon, I should say, that it arrived just after noon on Friday in Memphis. So it took 5 days for a reroute to go an 8-hour drive that I had just done myself. So I know how long it takes. And I haven't heard back yet to see if it's in any good shape. Has it been sitting on a truck, with, roasting in the sun and melted or what? Like, I haven't got the details yet. But the package did finally arrive in Memphis on yesterday. And I could show you tracking reports from a certain day where they said it's in this place. And the next day, no, it's back in the previous place. Like, it's just total crap show. So anyway, it looks like they finally arrived. I don't know what shape they're in yet because they hadn't opened the box yet. So I hope I'll find that out today, and I'm going to have to pay them to reroute them to everybody else. But at least two of them made them to the spot they were supposed to go to. So I've got Mark, I have to get yours rerouted. David, I have to get yours rerouted. Grants, I have to get rerouted. Who else is on that list? Jason. Yeah, Jason's got to get rerouted. So yeah, it's and I paid like an extra $75 to get the Saturday night delivery. So I'm going to be trying to get all that money back too, because
you should be. I can understand
the initial part about them having get blocked by weather. I went through that storm. I know why it got blocked. That's fine. But when it takes you 5 days to reroute a package, an 8-hour drive, and then you attempt to keep delivering it to the original hotel, like that's not acceptable. So
nope.
I'll be arguing with UPS over the next couple of weeks. I will never use UPS again. I'll state that right now. That was enough no, I'm just not doing it.
Well, this is embarrassing because this segment is brought to you by UPS. What could
yeah,
Brown
what stands
do
for
you?
oops. And there's a lot of oopsing going around, I'll tell you that. So
well, one thing good about UPS is I got my mom moved before I came to the show, and then the day after I left the show, I had shipped just before we left 7 boxes that were medium-sized U-Haul boxes through UPS, and it got to my mom's really quick.
I'm glad you had a good experience with them. I did not, definitely not. I didn't have a good experience the entire week trying to deal with them because they kept lying as to where the package was. They tell me, yeah, it's in the Memphis thing. No, it's been sitting in Chicago for a week.
Now, Ron, was there any chocolate in those packages?
Yeah, did you get mine? Maybe you can reroute them for me.
No, just my mom had a whole bunch of boxes of jewelry. She wears earrings that clip on, and there were tons of those in there, and clothes. So it was all.
Now I have to say, like you guys were talking about CoCoFEST here, so I might as well give you some positive feedback rather than bitching about UPS. Basically, the show I think is the best show I've been to since before I took a break from the CoCo community. So we're talking back to 2003, 2002. I think this is the best one I've been to. The hotel was great. The food at the supper was good, and like Jason said, it's for the camaraderie. The food has to be good. It doesn't have to be great. It's a bit expensive, but the fact that we're all in the same room, we visit each other's tables and talk. That's the advantage of it. I didn't really like it when it got all clicky and like these 5 people went to this restaurant, these 5 people went to this totally different restaurant in the opposite direction, and basically nobody visited. That's not a CoCoFEST to me. We always used to go to each other's hotel rooms afterwards till 4 a.m. talking about stuff. So that's the kind of thing I'd like to do. Now we're all getting older. It's tougher to stay up to 4 a.m. and try to get to the show, 3 hours later after a quick nap. So, having the supper in one spot is a much better idea to me. And I quite enjoyed it. And the food was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. No complaints.
On Saturday night, when my son came, he stayed overnight, but we talked until 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's the old tradition, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably also is helpful that probably back in the day, what time did the showroom floor close?
Oh, earlier than it does it here.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of that after parties in rooms and such is probably happening now in the main showroom floor, whereas back then, because you had to leave the showroom floor, you would just go to people's hotel rooms. And
or it'd be in the lobby. Sometimes we'd be at the hotel restaurant because they usually have one there. We'd fill up like 3/4 of it.
Yeah, so with the show floor still open at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have more people there than altogether, which is overall, I think it's a better scenario than having people go to their individual rooms, because you can easily talk to more different people than if 4 or 5 people go to a single hotel room.
And this way, David Ladd doesn't know your room number.
It's true. It's easier for people to just stroll by and see a group of people talking and then come over and join and go in and out and
like honestly, in Rainbow Fest days, like when there was thousands of people coming out to these shows, the hotel room ones were usually the behind the scenes. Like, I'm going to show you some software I'm working on that I can't announce yet, and you'd get a couple people, and it'd be like gentlemen's NDAs that you wouldn't talk about it, but you got to see a ton of cool stuff that got released the next year. And I remember going to Dave Dye's room and seeing some other games with the light gun that actually never got released, but I got to see them and actually try them out. on the as a room, and of course the level 2 version 3 people with Kevin Darling, them. I wasn't part of that group, but they had meetings for a couple of years as they were working on that project. So there's a ton of stuff that was going on. Even some Radio Shack stuff was happening behind the scenes. They'd give some previews of stuff they couldn't talk about, or some of the developers, like the people like Rick or Steve or somebody would come in. But basically the show this year, I thought it was great. Best attendance in 15, 20 years, I'm sure. I think the general mood was much better. I didn't see any hints of drama. There was a lot of excitement. I got to talk to Boise and Neil for lengthy periods of time, all positive on both sides. It was great. The only disappointment I had was the chocolate bar fiasco of 2023, which Ken's going to be making a video, I'm sure, about. And the weather coming down, because it just happened to be that exact weekend that weather went complete to hell. If it had been the weekend before or the weekend after, it would have been fine. Would have had no snow at all, and 60-degree temperatures type thing. But just that one weekend just went to hell in a handbasket, and that's what stemmed the whole thing.
And that snow followed you all the way to Chicago.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that storm originated in the States, came up to Canada, gathered some colder air, and then went back down, and then trekked across. So I'm blaming you guys.
I was sitting next to Fred, and Fred was trying to get ready for his demonstration, and he was trying to get the last few bugs out and stuff. And people would come by and try and talk to him and stuff, and he's really trying to concentrate, and he's having the hardest time. But he did fix a bunch of stuff before he went, and I thought, wow, this guy can multitask like the CoCo.
Well, not really, but I did squash a bunch of bugs, and I got the program working, but there were a couple features I didn't show during the presentation because I knew they weren't going to work. And so I'm actually, and I remember during the presentation, I said, oh yeah, by the end of the day, I'll post, I'll upload a disk image with and I still haven't done it because I keep finding more bugs. Yeah. And I'm still working on it. So I know I've made promises before, but I do feel fairly confident I should be able to post that disk image with the most recent update pretty soon, in the next day or two. There's just one bug that just kept recurring. I would get to a point where I thought I had fixed it, and then I'd be working on another bug, and I'd go and fix that bug, and then the first bug would somehow reappear. And so I wound up squashing the same bug like 5 times, and I'm like, it's weird. It's like I'd fix one bug and this bug would pop up. I'd fix that bug and it would cause the first bug to pop up again. I'm pulling hair out of my head lately.
That's programming in a nutshell, right there.
That sounds like
That
Nick
sounds
Marenti.
totally normal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know it is too.
And like me, I was trying to rush through. Like I was trying to get that transition guide manual for if you're running off the repository 3.30, the last official release from the repository. All the stuff has been changed, updated, added, bug fixes, etc., which is like a 50-page PDF. I was trying to get that all finished up before the trip too. So that was another reason I forgot the chocolate bars, because I was distracted trying to get all this other stuff for the show at the last minute, and then the weather thing just kind of threw me right off, and I left all of them in the fridge. And no. Well, now they're in Memphis, and hopefully they'll start going out soon. But anyway, yeah, great show. I didn't get a chance to visit a lot of the seminars. I didn't get a chance to even talk to all the people there. I kind of got about half the room done, and then people would come and grab me. I need to ask you some questions about Nitrous 90 of you and stuff, and then I'd go back to my table. So I didn't get a chance to see as much or talk to as many people as I liked. Fred, just like you, Rick Adams was trying to work on fixing a bug in Shanghai, and then somebody was playing Shanghai on his machine, and he was determined to win the game, and he didn't win it until around midnight. So Rick never got a chance to work on it at all that day. He was trying to be polite. But yeah, that kind of thing just happens.
As for me, well, this was my third CoCo Fest I'd ever been to. And I got to say, by far, hands down, this was the best one. I mean, I've enjoyed every single one of them, but my gosh, it's like my last one was 2 years ago, and this one was like at least probably more than double the size of the one from 2 years ago, and about double the size of the first one I went to back in 2004. And I was blown away. I was like, holy cow, this is big. This is happening. This is there was like energy there, and people were excited and talking, and going around from table to table, there was just so much to see and so many people to talk to. It was just it was vibrant. That's the word I was looking for, vibrant. Yeah. And compared to the 2 previous fests I've been to, and it was really exciting to see. It was really awesome.
I think the best part for me, which is kind of feeding on that vibe you're talking about, is that there were so many new faces to the show. I mean, people we've seen on podcasts and stuff, but like there's AJ and Boat and Aaron and a bunch of other people that came in that have never been to one or haven't been in one in decades type thing. So like the community is expanding and you could see it at the show. And we're bringing in new blood. It's not going to be just us old farts, at 90, we're dropping off like flies type thing. Like there's some new blood coming in and younger blood too. Like, I mean, Boat's, in his 30s, and we have kids there that are active, helping make commercials. I can remember the one you were talking about with the portable CoCo with the wireless monitor and the drill battery and all that stuff. Like the kid was a natural salesman. He's trying to upsell me on stickers and anything he can do here. If you buy 3, you'll get them for cheaper type thing. So that kind of enthusiasm I like to see.
Hey, Fred, 2 years ago is not a good indication because the Canadians were locked on their side of the border, and some people were looking at mask restrictions and stuff, and it just so turned out that Elk Grove Village they weren't having anything to do with that. So we lucked out by showing up.
Yeah, I do realize that. Yeah, the 2 years ago was kind of an odd special case. But
compared to your 2004 experience, I mean, that's legit.
Compared to the one from 2004, it was night and day. Because 2004, I think, was kind of the community was kind of at a low point during that time, I guess.
Yeah, I think those were more like that's why I quit going around 2003. I think it was my last one for a break, because it was turning into just old friends meeting up as like a high school reunion. It wasn't like we're going back to high school and having a blast. It was just like, oh, how you doing? Type thing. It was friendly, but it didn't have that enthusiasm. And this time it feels like there's new stuff coming out. There's new hardware, there's new software, there's new ideas, there's all kinds of things happening. It's a happening place. The vibe, as you described it, Fred, that's exactly what I felt too.
The room was good. It had neat print on the floor, and it looked kind of classy. And the tables had cloth, which is different than like 19. I think they had plastic over the tables, and
it's like a picnic.
Put stuff on it, it would slide.
Well,
this
is by far this is a beautiful venue. Grant found a gem here. I think. Finding
I am very pleased with the venue.
My room was wonderful. The hall was wonderful. The restaurant was good. It was nice. It was convenient. I mean, I think they even opened up for lunch on Saturday, and they don't normally do that. But
when I got there, the lady goes, "Do you want a downstairs room?" I go, "Sure, it would be great." She goes, "Last one," and I said, "Oh, you recognize age." Cool.
And I have to say, like, if you guys didn't take advantage of it, Ken and I kind of looked ahead and there's a pool and a hot tub. So we actually took our trunks. And on Sunday, after all the stress of finding out chocolate bars are not going to make it, I don't even know if I can get them forward to Memphis. So I did have hope because it's not that far. So I really thought it would work getting there by Wednesday before we left. Because the drive back, we literally are passing Grant and David both. We're going right through their town. So I could have dropped them off and saved some extra shipping. But they didn't show up till Friday. So that didn't happen either. But that I needed that relaxation. I just needed to veg out, in basking in heat and stuff here. And that actually really helped. I slept good for the first time because I was stressed about that the whole darn trip in the weekend. So that actually helped me sleep. So
I was going up to my room, looked over the pool, and burned my eyeballs.
Oh, you saw me and Ken there?
Yes.
I only heard about it, but I was too tired at that point.
Yeah, we should have warned you about the nude pool rules, but
yeah, that glass elevator.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. The glass elevator overlooking the pool. Seemed a little creepy to me.
Now, the one thing that the other venue had in the pool area was like an arcade game. This one, and maybe a claw machine or something, but this one doesn't have that. But that's okay.
Even though 2 years ago I tried that arcade game machine, and it like ate a couple of my quarters, and I was like, okay, well. So I never
just go to the Gambling Ghost instead. It's much better. Anyway.
Well, a high humidity area is not so good for machines.
Yeah.
How
many of you guys saw all this chairs out by the dumpster?
Yep, that's where all the easy chairs went.
I think they set up specifically for Ken to take pictures. I honestly think
and we did.
Yeah,
and we did take pictures.
Well, did you bring them?
I have them.
Yeah, they're in the.
Mark has them. Yeah,
they're in the film roll. Yeah.
There's
I was wondering where all the easy chairs went. None of the had them. They were all out in the parking lot.
Yeah, we were we were packing up, loading up, packing up, and I hadn't been in that parking lot. Like, look at all those chairs and stuff. I said, we got to take a picture. And
we should have had the whole
Ken
crew
starts
out there.
walking over towards the building, and I'm like, no. Oh, you want to take my picture with it? Yeah,
Actually, one's right in the corner there, so or that they're showing
there
on the air. Yeah,
there it is.
Probably someone didn't take him home.
There.
That's a reenactment of Nightmare Highway for you folks.
It's
there.
a close rendition.
Yeah. I just want to cover a couple things in the chat here quick too. Where was it here? David, for Grant first asked, what do you think about a Friday start for the CoCo Fest? So I know Grant has mentioned he's looking into doing Friday and then cutting it off Saturday because a lot of people have to fly back to go to work on Monday. So Friday might be a better one to have a full day event.
Half day on Sunday then.
Yeah.
Well, the 4th will be with us next year.
Yeah, that's later by week too. I hope they won't get snow and ice. Mark Oliver was asking about me and Ken having white knuckle driving. I've mentioned this to a few people on the show, but I've still got the problem here. This my ring finger on my left hand, I was gripping the steering wheel so hard trying to keep it on the ice, trying to keep on the road, especially through North Dakota, because they also had a Red River Valley flood. So the ditches are all full of like 6 to 10 feet of water on top of the ice. So if you slid off, you were going straight into water, enough to cover your car. And we actually saw some trucks with their back ends sticking out of the water. So that's what we were looking forward to. But I gripped it so hard, I apparently pinched a nerve in this finger, and it's still all tingly and weird, and I can't feel stuff out of it. So hopefully that's not permanent because it's been going on for a week now.
Which finger is that again?
My ring finger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not quite the shooter.
Yeah, not the other one. And then Ken Franklin mentioned this was kind of cool too. A few of us witnessed this happening on, I think it was on Saturday, where a whole wedding group in matching silver suits came and got their pictures with the Dino Wars poster from Tim.
There it is.
I was really confused, but yeah, I saw that. I was like, who are these people? Why are they here?
I mean, that's a unique wedding
people.
Experience you won't get anywhere else. So come to CoCo Fest. That's all I can say.
I didn't know they were at a wedding party. I thought like maybe a local mafia family had, sent a bunch of guys over to rough us all up or something.
That was the Fettuccine Alfredo family.
So yeah, that was good. The jam didn't go as well as I was hoping. That's just because I don't think any of us really had a chance to fully practice everything or sync up and even get common songs. We do have to make at least a bass song. We can improvise some other stuff, but we need at least 5 to 10 that we kind of all participate, learn.
Make a list. Make a list and post it next year.
Who brought the horn?
Yeah, I did. I got it. I got to admit, I don't think I played very well that night either. So my apologies. I tried practicing, but to your point, it's if you don't like rehearse together, then
it's difficult.
Right.
It's really
but at least
hard.
if you know the same song, because after that, it was after the 2 songs that I kind of practiced. What little bit of this song I've last played a year ago do I remember?
Yeah. There were a couple of times I wanted to like sing a couple songs, but nobody knew the songs that I wanted to sing, so it was kind of hard to.
And we do need at least a bass song list. I think just 5 to 10, just enough to get a start, and then you can improvise. And I have to say too, my playing wasn't as well because I can't feel this finger. Like if it was hitting a string, I couldn't tell if I was hitting a string or just a fretboard because I can literally feel nothing on the fingertip here. So that was a bit of a problem too.
Well, the anthems were kind of neat. It was neat to hear the Canadian one, and some people
Colombian, wasn't it the other one?
Yeah.
And even
Rick, sorry, you were saying?
I was saying even a place to sit up too, because we ended up kind of all. I mean, Fred could walk around with trombone, but
yeah, you were way at one side of the room.
And
I was in the middle.
Where you're plugged in, and I didn't want to really plug into other people.
And originally, we were supposed to have the jam session in one of the side rooms. That was the original plan. We weren't supposed to be in the main hall. I
even brought a spare guitar and stuff so people could schlep in, but you couldn't really organize that the way it came down. So.
Yeah. No, I know Grant was talking about getting another room like the auction. People were complaining the auction room was too small too because it was like standing room only at the back type thing. And if you ever want to see a fun auction, like the fun part of the auction in previous years, usually been Alan Huffman against anybody else because he'll just you can bid him up to the yin yang. Marine was bidding on behalf of Taylor to try to get one of the Spectrums, and Taylor had a firm price she didn't want to go past, and Marine was having none of that. She was going to get it for her. So like once she went past it on the last one, like Taylor's sitting there going, no, stop. And Marine's going, waving her off, like, I'll keep bidding until we get this thing. And then I don't know if you guys saw it, but Taylor went and kind of slunk against the wall in the back, and she took her hoodie and she kind of like tightened it right in the cocoon so she didn't have to watch anymore. It was hilarious. That was just exactly like Alan, fighting a battle with somebody, getting something that would normally go for $50 up to 200 just because he refused to lose.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
Yeah,
it was nice to meet Amy's. It was Amy's husband.
Yeah, super smart medical research guy. I talked to him for about 45 minutes, I think, on Saturday. That was a fascinating conversation. He's so intellectually above me. It was like hard to keep up.
Also real quiet. I mean, he didn't say a whole lot in between things.
Yeah, well, he did with me because we were talking about his field of research in medicine, and I don't know how much of it I'm allowed to talk about because some of that might have been semi-private, so I won't go too much detail of it. But it was fascinating conversation.
So there is.
I felt I learned a lot listening to him. I don't understand most of it, but I learned a lot.
So there is another room over on the other side of the down the hall, on the other side of the pool.
Yeah, that's one Grant was talking about. Tried to get next year.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
The wedding was in that room that weekend, so that's why.
Yeah, because there was some complaints about the auction room being too small, and I think Grant was mentioning that if they can get that room for next year, it's a bigger room, and then they're planning to have the auction there.
I have to admit, that's why I actually didn't attend the auction, because I peeked inside, saw there was standing room only, and I was like, I don't really want to stand up for an hour, whatever it is.
You could slump against the wall like Taylor did when she was.
Well, yeah, but the chances were I wasn't going to wind up winning any of the auctions anyway. So I figured standing in a room, a crowded room, for an hour and not buying anything didn't sound like a very good time.
It's fun watching the interaction, like people going, "Oh, I really want that," and then somebody else going, "No, I want it." But just back and forth. Then some third person will wait till the end, and then he'll just jump in and grab it. And Frank kept
hoping.
And Frank kept saying, "Please stop me. I keep buying stuff. I can't take us all home." And then you buy something else.
Yeah, I was wanting the 360K floppy drives, but a guy kept bidding those drives up to $115.
Yeah. It was funny because there were some things I thought that obviously did go a little bit overpriced compared to what we would normally get. And some of the stuff went really cheap. So, I mean, you had both parts of it. But it's all for raising money for us to have another fest next year. And by the end of the first day, from what Jim had told me, we were like $50 short of paying for the whole show. And by the next day, we were like 1,000 or whatever plus over. So, I mean, definitely successful. And you can't fault that. I mean, the whole point of it's a fundraiser for the show.
In the auction, was there anything you guys noticed that was pretty cool to try to get? I mean, above and beyond the
there were some rare items in there. Yeah, I would say
wasn't there a pad, X pad?
No.
Did I see that?
Not that I remember.
No, it must have been on the table then.
It was a bunch of different joysticks, roller pads.
Yeah. There's some alternative floppy and hard drive controllers, like the Distal Super Controller 2 with a 3-in-1 board or 4-in-1 board, I think it was. The J&M, I saw one go.
I managed to get a SCSI floppy drive.
That's a rare one. I remember hearing about it, but I never had one.
Last time I had a SCSI floppy drive, I had to clean it.
So I was making a guess that's what that attachment board was.
Yes, it's SCSI, but the drive is a 1.2 megabyte high density. So
yeah, because we have SCSI interfaces, that's the one you can actually interface with the CoCo, the proper driver. If it's an 8-bit one, compatible one anyway.
So that AT case with the hole cut the top of it. So that looks like that was a repack at some point that someone started taking back apart again. But what it still had in it was a 2-drive Burke and Burke setup, as well as 3 floppies in it with the controller.
I was going to ask you that, Mark, because I do know some people here at the local club would get a big PC power supply and case specifically for drives, and they had no intention of putting a multi-pack board or a CoCo board or anything else. That was all to hook up to an external regular CoCo. I was wondering if that was one of those, maybe.
It had a lot of extra stuff in it.
It did.
There was actually 2 high-res joystick interfaces that were like breadboarded. A lot of other cables and stuff. I didn't open it up to see the insides of it, but yeah, I guess it's possible. It could be just drives.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering. Like, so some people just use it because a beefy power supply from a PC. You could drive 3 floppies and 4 hard drives if you wanted to, or something like that. So that's what some people did. They didn't have any intention of repacking.
It had some CoCo connectors in the back plane of it, so So
that
kinda makes
sounds
me
more
think
like it was
a-
steering towards eventually becoming a full repack.
Yeah, or it was one and then it went back the other direction.
Another couple comments from the chat here. But CoCo Strangiato, Bob Emery, he said he saw at least one person loading a chair into his car. Was that Ken, Jason? Was that Ken just taking a souvenir for his game?
No, it wouldn't have fit in my car either way.
Well, you could have got rid of Ken. Might have some room. I also want to mention to him too. I one other thing I learned a little bit to play about the first 10 seconds of the actual original Rush song that CoCo Strangiato uses, and actually what his name of his channel is based on. I actually learned the first little lick of that, but he didn't come down for the jam, so I didn't get to play it for him. That sucked. And Franklin Harris this says, "Yep, I have that spend too much problem," and I definitely witnessed that person.
Did Brian Weasler buy anything at the auction?
Did he? I think he was in there.
No, he already had it all.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he had to park his semi at the truck stop next door, though.
Yeah, that's where he's loading the rest of the chairs.
The gentleman from Retro Rewind.
Yeah, Frank.
Frank. He had to leave his two guys home at the fest to take back what he got.
Yeah, he didn't have room in the car afterwards. Yeah.
He seems to be a pretty nice guy.
He's a great guy, honestly.
Yeah.
One of the friendliest vendors I've ever met.
In chat, yeah.
Well, the two guys with him were good too. They were nice.
Yeah, well, they're Canadians, of course.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who's a bit of a jerk.
Hey, Curtis.
Wow.
You and Ken dropped the ball.
On which?
When you were on afterwards, when you were on the Taylor and Amy show, they should have just had you and Ken on the screen, and then you look at Ken and say, "Hey Amy," and then hey Taylor.
Ken's got a show that we did another little clip for it, which you'll see when he releases it. So I'll just say no more than that. But there's more coming.
Yeah, and then two of you look at each other and say, "Something's not right here."
So do we have
It's along that line, but that's all I'll say.
Do we have a commercial coming with more ads from the show?
We'll have more bumpers. I'm still working on that. I did film quite a few bumpers and stuff for the show at CoCo Fest, and just due to time constraints this week and everything, I haven't been able to get to it. I'm going to try to get to some of that this weekend.
Because you played the David Ladd one at the beginning. I think I caught the audio of that one.
Yeah, I got David. Yeah. There's a few I got over that I was just able to download from my Canon camera to my phone directly, and I threw those up on our planning channel just to get those out of the way. But there's a few of them I got to do some advanced editing on the computer, or it's more suited to edit on the computer, along with trying to edit my vlog together for CoCo Fest, which I wanted to have done by today, but that didn't happen.
I think it's great that you did that because down the road it's neat to see.
Yeah. Well, we kind of need to refresh them all anyway, so this is a perfect opportunity.
Took some,
especially at the best attended, most vibrant show we've had in a couple decades, literally.
I thought I would win the farthest person away award, but they didn't do that this time.
Well, I think it probably would have been William Astle, wouldn't it?
Would it?
Or the guy from Columbia? I'm not sure. That was.
Did he actually? Is he? Oh, I thought he was. I
thought
he was
one
from
lives
Columbia,
in the States now, but I think the other one
Canada.
actually was from Columbia. I'm trying to remember who it is.
Well, then you might have not.
Brucio and somebody else, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Sorry, my apologies.
Yeah, he actually is from Columbia, and
Fabian.
Yeah,
no, Fabian is from Canada, but he's originally from Columbia. But the other guy, the other gentleman that was with him, he's actually
from Columbia.
He actually still lives in Columbia.
So for you folks at home, keeping along, taking notes, there you go.
Yes.
I mean, we had it set aside for Nick, but he didn't quite make it.
Well, but he gave away Pac-Man games, so that counts.
I still haven't had a chance to look at it. Did you change anything on that, Nick, or is it just the old Pac-Man game? Oh, he's sleeping again. Sorry.
Oh, it's very early there.
And speaking of Brian Weezer, just showed up in the chat here. It's kind of cool to have him bring the CP400, where I actually got to see it with the case off and look inside and see how the circuit board was laid out and stuff. That was cool.
I think he's still connecting there.
And there was a Nebu there, but
the Canadian network system thing. Henry Redfield brought that up because a whole bunch. The Taylor and Amy show got one of them. A lot of the big podcasters recently got them, but somebody actually went and reverse engineered how the whole server works. So instead of just being a neat piece of historic kit, it actually is functioning. You can set up servers and actually run the old games, run the old programs, and actually use it. which is really cool.
That's cool.
So,
But it had nothing to do with the CoCo.
It had
well, it's retro. It's
had a disk drive from a CoCo.
Yeah, it had disk drive. Henry actually had his booting off the CoCo disk drives because the actual drives didn't work or weren't even there, I think. So we actually commandeered an FD501 or a 502, I think, and actually got the Naboo running off of it.
Yeah,
I
they
think I showed the picture.
They don't actually have disk drives for them.
From my understanding is that was an option you could buy at the time they were selling them, that you could add drives to it. But most of them just came as network boxes, hook up a cable system.
Yeah.
Brian, what you got?
Hi, Brian.
Hi, guys. How are you?
I know. Did you hear us talking about you just a couple minutes ago, or you're not logged in yet?
Oh, I wasn't logged in. What were you swearing my name again?
No, I was talking about your CP400, and I actually got to see the inside of it and stuff. So.
Oh, yeah. I took the cover off of it. I hadn't really seen the inside of one of those, and they really got it crammed in there. So it's a tidy little box in there. But what I thought was kind of interesting is there was kind of wasn't sure if it was something that was modded afterwards or if it was actually a factory mod. But crisscross in the video chip was a transistor and some resistors and stuff. But looking a little bit closer, Brendan Donahue were looking at it. We're thinking it might have been that's the way it was from the factory, because there were some chips that were bent up, but it wasn't like they were clipped and then bent up. The actual pinhole for the where the chip would have been was perfectly clean. So we're thinking it might have been something that was done during assembly.
Okay.
So
couple more quick chat things, and then we'll get Brian. I'm sure he's got something to show up here. So basically, Retrotech Chris says the Naboos are cool. He has 3 of them. Franklin Harris says Troy, one of the ones that came with him as part of the Retro Rewind contingent, the ones that were getting threatened to leave behind to make room in the car, is one of the developers who did reverse engineer the Naboo. So he's actually actively involved in getting those servers things running. And Retrotech Chris also adds there are some recreation boards in the works that allow disk drive usage, etc. So they're actually trying to reduplicate everything that thing had back in the day. So Brian, did you? We were asking earlier. None of us remember you doing this in particular, but did you get anything at the auction?
Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I did buy one thing at the auction there. What was that? It was a memory board. It was a Cloud 9 memory board.
Oh yeah, that original one.
Like the old SIM one?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, it was the old SIM one. I did pick that up. And there was a pair of Wyco joysticks that I wanted, but somebody else wanted them more.
I'm trying to remember, like the SIM board that you got, it's one of the very early ones that you did, right? Like it almost looks like a prototype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me
I think that's the one I donated.
Oh, was it? Let's see here.
So here it is. Before the auction, I brought that to Mark to have a little trip down memory lane.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me slide.
Because all my machines are 2 meg now, so I had a couple 512 keyboards. I kept one just for nostalgia purposes, but that was the one I donated, I think.
Let's see here. This?
Yep, that's the one.
Yep. Okay, very good. Yeah, it was kind of similar to the one that I had shown, was a week before last.
Can you zoom that up, Mark, just so that people can see it?
Yeah.
Sure, the bottom 2.
Where's it?
So yeah, it looks like it has what would this be? Are these 2 500
30 pin?
Should be two 256s.
Yeah, 256 30 pin SIMs, 8-bit. Not, I don't think it's the parity 9-bit one. I think it's just 8. Is there 8 little chips on each one or 9?
8.
Yeah, so it's the non-parity one.
Macintosh memory.
Let me get my big head and to block the sun so you guys can see a little better. There you go. Yeah, there it is. So yeah,
some Nitrous 9 development happened on that board, I'll tell you.
Oh, okay, very good. Appreciate the history there. Yeah, I just say it's Cloud 9 512K SIM memory Rev C, November 1988. Yeah, it says on the board there. So yeah. And this is the only thing that I picked up at the auction there. There was a few things that did kind of interest me, things that I already had. So I wanted to, nothing was really jumping out at me other than those joysticks. I already had one, but I was wanting to maybe get a pair. So, but no, I thought it was a good auction.
Also, I wanted to thank you for the gift of the Rainbow Adventure poster you gave me.
Oh, you're welcome.
And also wanted to thank on behalf of Taylor Namer. I'm sure too busy to be on the show today, but for the gift of the CoCo Theater, they were very happy with that.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some interesting things that they might do with it. So whether it's games or I know it kind of spawned her to Taylor to kind of, I think she bought a switcheroo from Jason there, and maybe even a memory upgrade. I can't remember, but
so your donation helped spur sales for other people, so that was always good.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm glad they enjoyed it, and looking forward to see what kind of videos that they put out with it. So yeah.
Oh, one thing I really forgot to mention earlier, a big thank you to Paul Fiscal. And trying to remember who was it who brought it down for me.
David.
But what's that?
David Ladd brought you something from Paul.
Okay, yeah. And then David also gave me a complete PS2 mouse thing, which I can now finally fix the drivers to run properly. So thank you, David, for that. But Paul sent me that whole lit up Tandy thing, which I had no idea was happening. So that was a big surprise. I was genuinely touched by that.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, that was a ordeal in itself to get it to you.
At least you didn't ship at UPS, or I never would have gotten it, or been in multiple pieces.
Yeah, you should have seen what happened to the first one.
That was the first one. Okay, go on, David. Please explain this story here. I don't know nothing about this.
Yeah, the first one
cursed. Yeah,
the first one didn't survive the mail. We'll just say that.
I'm getting experienced in those matters.
Yeah, you're lucky that the one that he sent directly to the hotel to me survived.
Yeah, because I'm actually planning on putting it on one of the shelves here so I can actually light it up during the show so people can see it in the background. I don't think I'll be bringing it to shows though, because it's pretty fragile with all the glass.
Yeah, it's a good design.
Yeah,
that's how I lost my. Sorry, that's how I lost my Magnavox monitor years ago. Was I had it shipped in the mail, probably UPS. I don't know. I can't remember. And didn't pack it well enough, and the whole front panel got smashed in, and total loss. I was very sad.
Yeah, that's a good monitor too.
Yeah, if you ever watch some of the internal videos from how UPS treats packages, you would never want to ship anything by UPS ever again.
Yeah, I think it involves cannons.
True
catapult.
True.
Oh yeah, it's
trebuchets. That's right, trebuchets.
Yeah, the employees toss packages like that they're softballs.
That's when they can find them. Which apparently, from my experience, is a rarity.
I've also learned to only use hard shell suitcases nowadays too, like going on a plane trip.
Go ahead, Jason. Yeah, I could see you're just itching to say a comment.
Oh, I'm just going to say in this episode of the CoCo Nation brought to you by FedEx.
Yeah, pretty much. At this point, I'd rather use USPS or Canada Post than I would UPS. Or a trebuchet. That would probably work about as well.
Right.
At least I know where the hell it went.
Sort of, yeah.
No, USPS, I can definitely confirm a package went across the United States back and forth 5 times before it finally got to me.
Well, we're tracking mine, and aside from the fact that they would claim it was in cities, days before it actually ever got there, it went through Winnipeg, or Saskatoon, Winnipeg, Louisville, Kentucky, Illinois, to the hotel and back because we'd already left several days earlier. Then Memphis. So that was the trip. It went for Saturday night delivery, overnight delivery, by the way. So I think I'd still take USPS. That the odds might be a little bit better.
I mean, let's face it, all the carriers have their issues.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You just happen to have a particularly bad experience with UPS.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The biggest I've had bad experiences with all of them. But
yeah,
you'll have that.
Are they easy to resolve, or like if you want to get some money back because they didn't do anything that they promised, or is that a big fight?
I've never gone that far. You probably will be able to do it pretty easily. But my biggest thing, the reason why I like the Trebuchet the best is because then you can use your CoCo for tracking it.
Use your eyeballs for tracking it. David Krager says, my favorite acquisition from CoCoFest is appliance and light controller, complete in box they got from Neil Blanchard. I remember talking to him a little bit about that. Controlling your lights, etc.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
So, should I show all the wonderful stuff I got after CoCoFest?
No, one thing I'm curious when you guys, like everybody said the show's pretty good, and I think that's a general agreement from everybody. It's the best show we've had in years. Is there a favorite piece of hardware and or software that you had not seen before that really impressed you? Even if it's an older one you just hadn't seen in action. For me, the wireless power drill battery CoCo, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
That was interesting because you get a lot of technology for very little money using a cordless tool battery. If you try to use a laptop battery, then you've got to invent a laptop safe battery charger and blah, blah.
Well,
but a tool battery, dime a dozen, go buy a
Home Depot
screwdriver and you've got a proper charger and a proper battery and proper load control. And
he said it lasts, I asked him, he said it lasts up about 6 hours per charge.
I had never seen a Gamester in person before.
Neil's joystick. Yeah, that is nice. I actually tried it for the first time.
Mark Marlette had one out on his table,
nice wood.
That was the first one of those I'd ever seen, so I thought that was cool. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Sloopy, David first. But Sloopy, I figure you've got to have opinions on some hardware and software. This we'll ask you next. But go ahead, David.
Yeah, the USB RS-232 pack project. I'm bad at names unless I talk to you constantly.
Dan Barber.
Yeah, he brought his prototype, and we tested it out. And I have to say, it is. I would compare it to the Becker port speeds in the emulator. It was fast booting Nitrous 9 over the drive wire connection, so it was quick.
You didn't see Sunday's network boot demo on CoCo.io, did you?
I was just going to mention, like, my software pick would have been the whole network stuff you and Strickland and all the rest were doing. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys too much about it. But
I'm sad that I missed that. Yeah.
It was the end of the day Sunday before Henry's buddy, whose name escaped me.
Tommy.
What'd you say, Mark?
It's Tommy.
Tommy. Okay. He hooked up his 5G thing and sacrificed his Wi-Fi, his cell phone card a little bit for a demo. And we were loading OS 9.2 from a server, who knows where, locally, local utilities and everything over the network and getting usable speeds out of it. And this was out any kind of local cache or anything. So there's really and then he had his live demo. I wish I'd prepared a speech here, but he had his live demo, which was running a P mode 4 screen or P mode 3 screen. So 4 colors at 25, 27 frames per second, which you could certainly throw a stream of video at that. That would look good on a CoCo.
And Mark Oberholzer, you were involved in some of the Alcaran. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, actually, I've been mispronouncing. It's Al. I guess it is Alcaran. That's how it should be pronounced. Yeah.
Okay. But you're a part of that demo, and that's another network style demo that you guys got some progress done on that too, if I understood reading the Discord messages this morning.
Yeah. So basically it's been kind of set to the side for a while. Jay and Brett been taking a breather on it. So I thought we should have shown it off some last year because it's really kind of cool. So I started working on it, back September last year and then the last couple months. So actually whammered out a lot of bugs because I've been abusing Brett's poor code a lot. I've been adding lots and lots of like objects that seem to break things and expanded the map tremendously, which really messed up it moving from point to point. So those things have been fixed now. So
does that affect, there's a lot of network stuff happening on the hardware and software side that we saw. There was multiple demos running, like you and Patrick or Rick and Mark with the game stuff that, Jay wasn't unfortunately able to make it, but it looks like there's a lot of interesting stuff happening on that, which is going to look promising.
I was also running some of the times the server off of my cloud servers, so part of it was on the internet, and it actually still has pretty good speeds. So
at the show, we had our new venue blues pretty much because none of the tricks that worked at the last venue worked at this venue. They have some kind of magic super secret Wi-Fi thing where you can't just spoof a MAC address and sneak in with your fancy router or whatever. They really got it locked down to the laptop that logged in is the one thing that is connected. And we beat our head against that all weekend. The pile of wires on my table and Mark typing away furiously at his table was all unplanned. That was all trying to get around above, under, or through this wall. And we never did until, like say, Tommy came up with the, put his SIM card on the line to give us a little bandwidth on Sunday afternoons so we could play with the new thing.
So Slippy, what was your favorite? I would assume hardware in your case, probably, but the thing that you saw.
Quite honestly, the thing that I actually enjoyed seeing in my hands myself was this cool little Mylar replacement that I got for my CoCo 3. I wasn't able to install it correctly myself, so I had to get some help. I evidently over tightened it because I was like trying to get it to be like flat and straight, and evidently no, I didn't do too well. So I got some assistance from my well, what should I call him? He calls me his technical advisor. So I guess my artistic advisor, Ken, actually did it. I had a Radio Shack branded AB switch for composite that I had on my table, and I figured the first person that asked me and said, "Hey, that's cool," I was going to give it to them. So Ken was actually looking at it, and he's like, "Hey, that's cool," and I says, "Well, you fixed it.
It's yours,
and it's yours.
You win."
He's like, "Okay." So he fixed my keyboard so it worked, and yeah, I really like that. I like the way it feels. I wish I could have gotten more, but I bought the last one and that was it. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I am looking forward to seeing the Ethernet options becoming expanded and available for the CoCo also. And I can't wait until they get to be critical mass where they can be easily used without having to do a bunch of hacking and such.
Yeah.
That's
now,
something.
I did want to go a little bit to the side here. It's still on topic, but for the people that were not able to attend in person, so I'm thinking like Kevin and Nick, etc. What was it like on the streaming? I heard that there were some glitches, like the bandwidth in the hotel wasn't, because it's all Wi-Fi and you're sharing with the entire damn hotel type thing. But I heard there were some glitches on that. I know there's some glitches on audio, like Ken and Mai's presentation actually went out with no sound at all. So you watch us just miming stuff. Now, I did talk to Grant about it, and Grant checked with Randy, what's his last name? Weaver? Is the guy who's kind of in charge of all that?
Yeah.
And he did make local recordings, which do have the microphone, and he's going to work on that. Like I know Boat and Aaron were so disappointed with theirs because the audio quality was like double mic'd and it was echoing into each other, that they were going to re-record the show this weekend from scratch and just ditch the old one. But it sounds like he's got some local recordings of theirs that might be a lot better too. So he's going to be working on re-releasing those, adding lower thirds, et cetera, like we do in our show. And then we should get some nice clean ones. But I was just wondering for the live viewing for Nick and Kevin, what was it like? Were you guys seeing all these glitches, or was that more localized if some certain people had crappy bandwidth? Or
the sound was I kept having to wind the video back a little because it was stuttering a lot. If you wind it back a little, it fixed it for a little while, then started up stuttering again. So yeah, but that was a bit rough.
David Lord in the chat is saying stream was horrible for me, continuous buffering. So that's the kind of stuff I was hearing.
Continuous buffering, yeah.
Yes.
Did you have your seminar, Curtis?
Yeah, and that's the one that went out with no sound at all.
Oh, okay.
From the sounds of it, it sounds like the mic input to go out on the stream got shut off. So the local recording recorded the sound, but the outputting the stream was just dead silence. the entire hour.
So Nick, so that was the best stream
Yeah,
you've ever
it was
heard?
the best
Yeah,
seminar
well,
I've
that was
ever
what I was
given.
gonna say. Yeah, I thought it was
I was the most
particularly-
concise. I made the most sense I've ever had in my life.
I
That's what
did,
Nick was telling me.
and no errors. No, nothing.
Kevin, if you're there, did you watch any of the live streams? Did you get the same experience?
Yeah, in the chat he says a lot of stuttering there too.
Oh, is he off the stream then? Or
No, he's over there, but he's
I'm
in the
here.
chat also.
Now, was
Here,
there?
was a lot of stuttering.
yeah, Tommy Gunderson, who's in Europe, he actually said the same thing. He said streams were not really watchable at all for him. So
Yeah, they were pretty rough. Was
Frank
there
says
any
no
video-
stream of his keynote either. Too bad. We solved all the world's problems.
Was there any video of the actual display area at all? I didn't see any on the day. Like it was only seminars that were.
Yeah, we were supposed to have a live stream set up at some point. Did we? Does that mean
I didn't see one.
Yeah, even for the hotel, the upload just wasn't there. But even the portable Wi-Fi's I brought, I wasn't getting enough self signal strength for any kind of upload. Download was okay, but I mean, I was getting under 1 meg for upload, and that's not enough to do a live stream.
Oh, okay, so we basically didn't try to live stream just the show floor.
Yeah, so it wasn't just the hotel. I mean, even the portable one I brought didn't do it.
The recordings that were posted, like say on Facebook afterwards, those came out, I think, okay. Because I've checked out a couple of them, and they seem to come out all right.
You mean like people's local recordings on iPhones and stuff, or?
Well, like, yeah, like a couple of the seminars I saw postings on Facebook of the seminars, and I assume it was somebody was making some official recording of them, and
Well, Randy was, and he was doing local recordings, which
Yeah.
once he adds in the thirds and he does some editing, he's
There you
going to put them up. So,
okay.
because it sounds like those are in much better shape than what actually most people saw live.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at is the recordings that have been posted online seem to have come out a lot better.
Okay. So anyway, we was trying to watch stream and had a lot of trouble, which it seems from looking at the chat and talking to Kevin and Nick here, a lot of people did. It sounds like Randy does have local recordings that he made at the show itself that are in much better shape, and he's going to be adding lower thirds and cleaning them up. And those will be gradually getting released and replacing the original live stream versions on the Glenside channel.
And you would think that Grant, the CoCoFest coordinator, would be on top of things involving live streams.
Actually,
he's overqualified, if anything. But
I would recommend that the live stream should only be of the main exhibition hall, and have it so that people can see what's going on in there. And the seminars should be just recorded. Have a video camera just record it, because you can then transfer it and upload them later. And
the problem with that is that last year we actually had comments coming in from the chat that we got to see and hear, and we could react to questions that people had live, and you completely lose that if you do it as a complete pre-record. Now with the bandwidth issues we had, that probably would have been a better idea this year.
I think the way this hotel worked is everybody on all of the 17 different Wi-Fi hotspots that they had, which weren't unified at all. They were just individual spots. You saw like 8 of them. They all went to one PC, which managed individual connections to keep people locked in, so you couldn't do MAC address spoofing and stuff. Well, that puts all the load on one PC, and everything has to stream through that PC. And so the bandwidth is limited to by what their little local server thing could do. It wasn't like a normal hotel where you get a MAC address and then you're going straight out the network and off to the world. You're going through a PC to their network and off to the world. So they can manage your connection very carefully. And
so they favored security over speed, obviously. Then
exactly, it was good enough for a room guest to do, but you aren't going to stream any events without doing something else.
And
now Tommy's
46.
Tommy's super cell phone thing that had like the eight antennas on it. It looked like a science fiction project on itself. Yeah. That thing worked pretty good, but like I say, he had to take the SIM card out of his phone and stick it in it and let it take over his world, and but I may get one of those. That looks like a good way to do things. If you have an unlimited Verizon account, whack the heck out of it.
He was using he has an unlimited T-Mobile account for that. He had a Verizon one too, but it was limited to 15 gigs. He didn't want to waste that.
If you put a piece of bread there in between those antennas, you're going to get toast in about 4 minutes.
You just stack it, right? Put them in the slots between the antennas.
Put a slice of cheese in there, you're all set.
Hey, Curtis.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention I didn't earlier is got to meet a lot of new people. I was just going through the list of people I was talking with. So I got to meet Dan Barber. He's the guy that did that. The RS-232 back goes directly to USB. He also has the math coprocessor card, the AMD 9511. So I got to talk with him, chat a little bit. A guy named Tom Heron was looking at the Alcaron game, and he just sent me a link today about one he saw on the Super Nintendo. It was one of the last games ever built for it with Mario. It was pretty cool.
He's working on a tower defense style game for the CoCo. Actually, he talked to me a couple of years ago about that. And he was asking me some more questions about that too. So
was he at
cool.
the show? The Heron guy?
Tom Heron? Yeah, he was there. Yeah, I talked to him.
Then you could have touched the Heron at this show.
I think that may have been inappropriate.
That might have involved charges, though, Ron, if you tried doing that.
Or you get slapped in the face.
I'm sure he appreciated that. And then Justin Larson and his son, Colin. Anyway, so he was really excited to the map game. It's like, I can make my own map. Yeah, I'll show you how to make a map. So, and then of course, Charlie, his presentation was pretty cool too. So got to see a lot of people that watch our show and talk to them in person and see them in real life. It was very cool. And I think it
like Barber, I don't think I really got a chance to talk to him. Heron I had a long, lengthy conversation with, but
he actually had to leave at 2 a.m. on Sunday. So he was only there for Saturday. So,
okay. But a good problem to have is you're too busy to see everybody. Like if your booth is that busy and you're constantly answering questions and you don't get a chance to see everybody, that's not a bad thing. I mean, I do miss not talking to people, but the fact there's that much enthusiasm that people are going to the booths and asking a lot of questions, that's a net positive for me. I
started going hoarse on Saturday afternoons. Like,
yeah, I did too. Thank God I just play guitar and don't try to sing. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I got to say that, that was, I think, one of the biggest thrills for me was to meet a lot of you in person for the first time.
We're sorry, but
no, just the opposite. It was great finally, Curtis, to meet you face to face. That was awesome, and Ken also, I hadn't met him before, and let's see, a lot of you I'd seen 2 years ago, but some of you, especially the Canadians, I hadn't met you before, so it was great to finally see.
And then people that had been there in a while, like Ron, like it was 5 years since your last one.
2019.
Yes,
2019.
Ron, you too. This is the first time I'd met you face to face as well. That was really great.
Didn't hurt at all, did it?
Not at all. It was great.
Just my ego. That's all.
This was my 5th CoCo Fest already. Where has the time gone?
You've been to more than that, or are you not counting Pen Fest?
No, not counting Pen Fest. That's
okay.
That's why I have that on the banner.
I went to a 2004 CoCo Fest when it was Lonnie Falk's thing.
Before that, because Lonnie was
I'm sorry. It was 1984.
84, yeah.
It was already my third.
Earlier one than that?
1984, I was in the 2nd grade.
Yeah. I think the last one Lonnie was at, I think, was 91.
Oh, okay.
So what was the first last? Was that the CoCo Pro
92.
Fest? Was that the
92 in Chicago? And then they had Atlanta Fest too that were ongoing at the same time, offsetting like every few months.
So there were the Rainbow Fest, and then there was the CoCo Pro Fest, and then there were the Glenside Fest.
CoCo Fest was originally Dave Myers and CoCo Pro, but Glenside was part of that too. And then I think it's 2nd or 3rd year, but Glenside completely took it over. Because Dave and Nancy Myers sponsored the first one, but they didn't want to run a show, so Glenside, I think, kind of took it over from there. My understanding.
Okay, yeah, okay. So the last was the CoCo
92.
Pro 92.
Yeah, 93, I think, was the first Glenside one.
Was the 93.
First last.
And of course, in the 80s, there was another like Color Expo that Color Computer Magazine sponsored, and Rainbow Fest in 4 different cities every year and stuff. There was a ton of them.
There was a couple in California.
Yeah, New Jersey had one. California.
Yeah, Princeton, New Jersey had one, and that would have been the closest one for me. But still, I never made it because I was a teenager and didn't have a license, and my parents didn't want to take me, even though it was just a few hours away.
She didn't want you to be corrupted by the kinds of people that live there.
It would have been awesome. I would have loved it, but I would have had no money to spend there. So,
Now, I guess a question for Slippy. So Frank has been commenting in the chat here, and he said, definitely a fantastic show. We had a blast. Glad to hear that, Frank. Sorry you had to get yanked away under the circumstances early. But he said chatting with Slippy was a defiant highlight. I think he might have meant definite, or maybe he meant defiant. I was going to ask you what he's mean.
I think he was right the first time.
No, he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to Sloppy, not Sloopy.
Oh. Yeah, Sloppy was a defiant highlight, so he's kind of mixed a few words there. I think he's using autocorrect on his phone. That's what I'm gathering.
Have you been drinking, Frank?
Dang, autocorrect, it gets you every time, I tell you.
Auto incorrect is what I call it, but yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's called
I have one piece of hardware that I got at the show I would like to point out.
Sure.
So before the show, I had this nice little world view of
Mark, can you zoom that? So
Trying.
Okay.
There we are.
So here are the CoCo keyboard types. And then a certain individual showed up and brought another type. This one looks much like the tanned one, less tan, but it's a membrane keyboard. Is this a Model F, do you think, Curtis?
I don't even remember off the top of my head, to be honest. I just had it
it's
flying
weird.
around here for a while.
Yeah, it could be
different.
because the F was, I think, the first board that had the Mylars. I think the
So
board
this
before
must
that
be
had
F
that.
board Mylar, so it's yet another kind of keyboard. So that's good.
That's one of the ones I gave you?
Yes.
Yep.
Before I even went into the show, he wrecked my whole world, destroyed my life.
You're welcome. It fits along with the chocolate bar theme.
Right.
Yeah,
I guess while we're on it, I got a new SDC, so I don't have to run back and forth from the front room to the back room with my one and only working one.
Yeah, this worked out well. I heard Frank said that they brought 32 of them. They were sold out by 2 in the afternoon on Saturday or something.
Exactly. So I expect
I'm a little mad about that. I wish I'd known. I would have definitely swiped one. My gosh.
Yeah. And then he ended up selling his demo unit.
Were they a special sale show price?
I don't know. They were sold out by the time I got to his booth, so I have no idea.
Right, who knows? I did get this thing, which is another DAT board to replace the one that blew up, so I can test some more stuff. So that was fun.
Which DAT board are you using at the moment?
The Boys in Tech one died, so since Cloud9 was literally across the aisle, I got one of his, so I can test that against all my new hardware now.
I'd be curious to know if you get problems with it. I've got one of those, and I'm getting sparklies.
Okay, yeah, we'll see how that goes because I have obviously lots of hardware to test against these things.
Oh, Frank says that CoCo CCs are back in stock on the site because they actually did sell out of their inventory.
I noticed,
they're back on.
But does Frank ship those via UPS?
God, I hope not.
And then since I'm cloning a Orc 90, I figured I should get an Orc 90. So I can at least compare what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, good idea.
And then with all of these repair parts, I kind of blew up my broken to fixed ratio. So Taylor helped me out and gave me this. Same on Model Sin. So
that looks familiar.
Yeah, it may. This was the donor that made hers go.
This was the big hallway hardware project, wasn't
it? Don't we have a picture of that somewhere?
Yeah, you didn't.
This was the hallway hardware.
Yes, I think so.
This is the leftovers from that. And that's the original color of the case right in the middle there.
Yeah,
so
basically.
It's interesting to see how close I can get this back to working again. So that was fun. Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, basically what happened was I had 2 and I was going to sell them one for a good price. Then when I went to Tandy Assembly, I knew that the one that I had that I was going to sell them, which you're looking at most of it, didn't look too good. Even
Here's
though
the hallway. Here's the
there
hallway
it is
section.
in action.
So I grabbed another one from Tandy Assembly that looked nice but didn't work. And I already knew that I was going to give them both to her. And I said, Well, here you have to pick one. and she's going back and forth between the two of them. And it's like, she's like, do I want the one that works or do I want the one that looks nice? And the things that were wrong with it were written on the cover. And she's going through, and I lean over to her to her and Amy, and I said, I'm old and I got back problems and I can't run. And if you grab them both and run, I wouldn't be able to catch you.
Well, it was fun watching you try.
So they grabbed them, they ran out in the hallway, and they were like laughing and giggling along with AJ, and they're like, woo-hoo, and they're celebrating. And then I looked at who was there. I think it was Ken was standing there.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, that is my opus. I made 3 women happy all at once. I'm ready to die now.
Good night, everybody.
Oh my.
But yeah.
Okay, go back to sleep, David.
I have a piece of hardware too that from the show that I don't know if anybody's mentioned or not.
And that'll take us out right to the end of the show.
Yeah, as he backs up the semi truck into the loading.
Is it something you bought there or got there,
Yes.
Brian, or is it something that you brought along?
No, it's something that I bought.
Okay.
I picked up one of Brendan Donaghy's joystick adapters for the MC10.
Oh, nice.
With all the bits to go between it.
Yeah, so this is the his. I don't know if you guys stopped by his booth or not, but
that's the shim.
Yep. So this is the board that gets installed there. You have to desolder the 2 joystick headers, and then this would drop down in that spot. And then what you can do is you can take the joystick headers that you desoldered, and you can resolder them into this board. So I'm sorry, not joystick, keyboard. Sorry, the 2 keyboard headers, and then you can resolder those pins back into here. So when you put this all together, you can reconnect the joystick. But it has the little Raspberry Pi Pico on here, and then this is the part that you would see protruding out front. Oops, sorry about the glare there, guys. So you have your 2 joystick ports and your USB keyboard port. So once you sandwich all this in there, obviously the case isn't going to go back on. So then he also sells this this spacer
in many colors.
Yeah, in many different colors. You can see,
and that's also for the CoCo VGA and an MC10.
Correct. Yep, that's right. And so here's the ports, and you have them all labeled and everything. He also has the ports here for if you want to relocate. Where's it at here? If you want to relocate the power button and the reset button, you can. He includes those in the kit as well. I was going to bring my MC10, and I had it sitting right there, and I forgot to pack it in the car, so I ended up taking the kit. But he has some really good instructions and some really good videos on his site there that pretty much kind of walk you through the whole process. And then the one other piece that I got too that he was including with it is this little stand. So once you put this all together, you can take your MC10 and set it right on the side there and kind of take a little less space and have your keyboard and joysticks right out front there. So
now that'll hold the window open.
Yeah. Before the
yes.
Before Jim Gary did all his work, that was for the door, but heck, now it's respectable.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's other people who are doing development for the MC10 too, including Infinito, et cetera. That there's a dozen games, machine language games even that are out there. So it's definitely rising up in the retro
the nice
community.
the nice thing about it is that you can go and play a lot of existing games because of the keyboard mapping feature that he has there. You can program the left, right, up, down to be any key on the keyboard. Yep. So whatever game that you have, you can pretty much set it up to work with that. So it's really nice. Talking about that USB serial, I did pick up one of those boards as well, unpopulated, but out on his GitHub, he has all of the detail of the different TTL chips that you need.
Can you zoom back up, Mark?
Oh, okay.
Shifted back to the other one too quick. I didn't know he had more hardware either.
There's always more with.
We should know better. Yeah, with Brian, it's
He
he only stops showing us hardware when we cut him off.
So I picked up one of the, I can't remember, forgive me, is that Don Barber? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was selling the USB serial pack. But yeah, he has the board. It's all silk screened up nice. He said all of it's out on his GitHub site. And this is all just standard TTL. He said the only thing that's kind of unique is the USB, but he said that's a stock item as well.
So for those who aren't familiar with that particular project, what exactly does this board do?
I think it's basically what it's supposed to do is supposed to give you the serial out through a USB, then you can go right to your to a computer there. From if I understand it correctly.
Yeah,
I was gonna read some more about it, but
yeah, basically it treats the USB serial as if it were a 6551 serial high-speed serial port.
Right. Yeah. So the CoCo sees it as a serial, and then you can then connect it to your computer. Yep.
But it's not. Yeah, but from the CoCo itself, it's not serial. It's parallel because it thinks it's writing to a 6551.
Okay, understood. Yep.
Yeah. So you read or write a byte of data at a time instead of bit banging it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that David Ladd is not here all over this. I mean, this is.
That's what we were discussing about half an hour ago, Sloopy, when I was talking about the Becker port speeds when he came over and we tested it on my machine.
Yes. Didn't you hear him go, ooh?
Oh, yeah.
So does he have any plans of actually selling these as manufactured boards rather than have to solder and put sockets and chips on it?
He didn't mention that to me, but it's possible that maybe he has some. Maybe it was just easier to bring a stack of these.
Because it sounds interesting to me, but if it has to be where you have to solder your stuff, I won't be able to use it. So
yeah, I got the last of the PCBs from the newest model he had with him. But if he doesn't do it, maybe he'll have Frank build pre-assembled units.
Because there's a pre-assembled SMT thing, that would be like a ROM pack board. It wouldn't be so big. And
yes, it's actually got a spot for you to install a ROM for those that like using HDB DOS for dry wire.
Smartwatch clock.
But I'm saying that whole long card would fit in a ROM pack game port along with the ROM. It would be a tiny little thing if it was pre-manufactured.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that unit fits perfectly inside the RS-232 PAX enclosure.
Or a disc controller, I would assume, too, the full size?
The old ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Like a 500 or the older ones previous to that, but not a 501 or a 502.
Right. The 26-3022, the 26-3029, or the FD500. Because obviously the FD50 1 and 2 are the short packs.
And even has the dip switches on here, so you can tell it whether or not it's a deluxe RS-232 or a direct connect modem pack by flipping the switches to get the different bits there.
Yep.
Frank is saying in the chat that they could make it way smaller.
Yeah, this could be the size of a game. Seriously.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah, and then you have like injection molded cartridge cases that fit that, so we wouldn't have to wreck or disable a previous disc controller or RS-232 pack controller to do it if it gets shrunk.
Cut it in half with a bandsaw, fold it, and then bodge wires.
Oh, geez.
I did have one little shout out to Rick Adams, though. I did pick up one of his
buggy ones. One of his games.
Yeah, one of his games there. That this is the one that has the. He said he had a bug in it, and so this one here has the bug has been corrected, and I went ahead and had him a little squiggly on the back of it for me there, so he signed it for me. So
nice. That's not a bug. That's a special edition.
Special edition.
Special edition.
Collector's item.
That's what we keep telling Rick,
right? Rick's a super nice guy, as we all know. So he's
absolutely.
So, but yeah, if they could shrink that down to fit onto a standard game cartridge, like John Linville ordered all those injection molded cases, and I think they've got hundreds left, so that would be perfect for that, where they could actually sell it as a dual instead of having to 3D print everything.
Well, isn't there some leftover, like what's the one that everyone wants to take apart now? The
GFL football.
GFL football, yeah. There you go.
You forgot.
No, not script set. No, that's not script set.
That's good. Yeah.
That's the one that's kind of like Dungeons of Daggerith, but not
Temple of
Theragood.
Oh, Temple of Theragood.
There you go.
I don't know. You guys used to diss on Dino Wars attempts. I don't trust your guys' views on games. So it's so famous. People come and have their weddings in front of it. I mean, how could you guys be so wrong?
I got a couple of more pictures I want to share. Are you done?
Oh, one more thing here. Just a little plug to Frank though. I did pick up one of their new diags too. So
and you actually got to test it with an 8 meg CoCo, didn't you?
Yeah, I brought my Gimme X, and I have one of the 8 meg boards, and we ran this, and it ran it all the way up to through the 8 megs. So
somehow I didn't see that. I wish I grabbed a copy of that.
There, Ken Waters actually, when Frank had to leave early, he actually gave Ken 6, and I think Ken's got 1 or 2 left. He sold the other ones at the show, but both Frank and Ken actually have some that they might be willing to part with.
Who would want one of those?
Right?
Yeah, really.
Me, every time I touch hardware, because I'll blow something up.
Yeah, I mean, what good are those things? I mean, no one wants one of those.
Right?
Exactly.
So very good. Ron had something to share?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it up?
Yeah.
Okay, this is my son
Your
at the
Facebook
show.
page.
It was really cool to see his little hands when he was a kid, messing with the CoCo. And then he did it again for me at the show, which was cool. This is Taylor and Amy's cover that they put over the table. Got a picture of the whole thing. Looks pretty cool, don't it?
Yeah.
Yep. And then this is Paul Barton's computer. I had it up and running, and he has a special page that he changed from 3 Amiga.
Yeah, the controlled reset graphic he changed just like David did on his machine.
Yeah. And then
that's the 8 meg one?
Yeah, I got a close up of his shirt, but it was blurred, so it didn't work for it.
That's actually just what it looks like, Ron. It's just
Okay, well this is cool. Look, this is P51 head to head. You could play 2 side by side at the show. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, you just did the null modem serial cable between them, or you could use modems, which some people did back in the day for the game itself, and you could actually play head to head 2 CoCos. Except it's really hard to find each other.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That'd be David Craker's booth, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's about it. I also had this from I don't know a long time ago. Somebody asked if this game Ninja was made for the last Ninja. It was made for the CoCo, and I remember making this up, years ago. And this is for May 2031, and it's $40.99 because of inflation. Canadians even more.
Yeah, that's probably low for the Canadian side.
Yeah.
Hey Ron, if you could scroll up one picture there, I was just going to comment about that.
This one?
No, the one with him in it.
This one?
Yeah, right here. Yeah. So Mark asked me if I had any computers to look at, and I knew I did have this one color computer 3. And so Mark was taking a look at it, and he was doing some measurements, but it had a very unique issue. When you turned it on, it made this nice 60 hertz bzzz, and it wasn't a transformer buzzing. It was actually the cassette relay. The relay was in there actually buzzing on and off at about 60 hertz. And Mark narrowed it down. He did some troubleshooting, and we're going with maybe a failed cap that might be either shorted or open or something. So I'm going to do a little
big tall one.
Yeah, the big filter cap.
Yep. So I'm gonna do a I'm gonna recap that one, and I'll be sure to give some feedback and see if you're right there. I'll let you guys know. So, but it was kind of an interesting. I'd never had a CoCo. I mean, I've had all sorts of video problems or no video, but never a noise like that coming out of it. So thanks, Mark, for wanting to take a look at it.
One of the Mark's screen.
One of the tests we did with that is we hooked up an alternate 5-volt source to it, and the rest of the machine came up fine.
Correct. Yep.
Mark, I'm embarrassed to admit here, until you guys just kind of talked about it here. I didn't even recognize that was you without your glasses on.
For
I was trying to figure out who is this guy. I don't remember seeing him in the show.
Who are these people?
He's kind of like Superman, kind of like Clark Kent. Take his glasses off, and he's a totally different person there. So
no, it's just the overshadowing by David Ladd.
And the gray hair. But notice that's a Radio Shack voltmeter I'm using.
Yes,
staying on brand,
right?
Sure it is. Yep. That's about it, guys. Thanks.
Unfortunately, I did not take a lot of pictures at the show because I just always forget to take pictures. I'm busy visiting with people, so I know Ken's got a bunch. I think he's posted a few of them on the Discord already, maybe even to Facebook, but he's got a lot more. Obviously, Taylor and Amy, shot video and stuff too. So
I took some pictures, but most of them are me with somebody else, right? So
that's good. Yeah, show them though. I mean, sometimes we'll get a better face shot of some of the people that some of us missed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, I'll post the one with me and you, Curtis. Then.
Well, I meant people that are important.
Well, that's why I took the picture with Ken Waters with the matching Ken's theme at least.
Do you want me to run through the slideshow I have?
Sure, why not?
Sure, yeah, we should just to see what else you caught.
So these are what I snagged from Discord. So Jason probably did most of these pictures. I haven't added mine yet to it. Let's see, to the beginning. We got Marco. You guys can see this correctly, right?
Nope,
not yet. No,
small screen.
Okay, let me see if I can make an adjustment for that.
Oh, it's actually showing it on the stream.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, it's on the. It's not pinning.
Fine.
It's not pinning the actual show stream, so we didn't see it there.
All right. Okay. So let me try to. Oh, that is.
That's funky.
That's good. That works.
Okay. Stop.
I'm looking to Affinity.
Yeah.
And beyond.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys able to see those?
Only if we pin the streaming out, because right now we're just seeing the checkerboard of all of us.
Okay.
Yeah. On the stream we're seeing.
I can see it. I pinned
Stream
it.
is fine. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Is that Marco at the airport?
Yep.
Where's the visor?
He's incognito right now. That's why he doesn't have the visor on.
It's a fake Marco.
Polo.
Ken and Jason.
Yes, I saw a Hawaiian shirt at Walmart. Best $13 I ever spent.
I was just trying to figure out which shirt's louder. It's kind of tough to tell.
Hey, they look nice together.
The shirts, yeah.
They look like brothers. I swear, they're brothers.
Actually, they kind of do.
All right, next.
There's the visor.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's the visor club
too. Yeah.
The visor user group. That one I liked. I saw the one on Facebook of Fred petting the dinosaur.
Oh yeah. I sent that to my brother, who he and I used to play that game a lot when we first got our first CoCo, and he got a kick out of that picture. He's like, Dino Wars.
Now, is this Mark and David doing a duet singing, and Aaron's trying to comfort David for his lack of a good singing voice, or what's going on here?
I think Aaron was just got a little too close to David, and I think that's why you got Mark's reaction there. Yeah.
David, what's your recollection of this picture?
Yeah, Aaron's a hugger.
Was that the wet ear one?
Ew. It could have been. Something went on there. I don't know. I just.
Let's see.
That's Ken and me in our natural state after 24 hours on the road together.
Do not adjust your picture.
I'd buy that game for $1.
Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I got to click back. I went too far.
I'll take Canadian duos for 200.
All right. There's Sloopy.
I'm trying to figure out what that facial expression is, Sloopy. What the heck was that about?
That was the best expression he would give me, I guess.
This was a famous Model 100 hackathon session there that Rick was talking about earlier.
Was this the after it was all done or before?
Pretty
the
much.
start?
Yeah.
That was
Live and in the hall.
start.
This is mid chop. Yeah.
Yeah, that's at the beginning, before, I do believe.
Before
No,
the
a
other
bit
one?
later because I only joined it late. I didn't even know you guys were doing it at the beginning. I just popped in at the last 10
Yeah,
minutes.
this is when they was partially done. Because then they finished doing it, and by the end she was by herself. Because I got a picture of that where it shows her sitting there playing with it, and I pan back and show that there's absolutely no one there anymore.
Yeah, that's my elbow there. She already had it assembled by the time I joined the group.
That's Frank. That's apparently the new cover shot for the new version of the diagnostic cartridge.
Yeah. Jim
Your
Rice.
Coco's okay.
Jim Rice. Yeah. Mark, go back one. Go back to Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah. Go back to there. Jim Rice says Fletcher changed her hair.
Okay. So who brought those cutouts?
So are we going to be calling
I think that's
Fletcher
Tim
now?
Lindner.
Yeah.
I think they're at fault for the Dino.
Yeah, well, he couldn't have brought them because he flew.
No, I believe it was the folks that had the battery operated CoCos. I thought they brought them, but I could be wrong.
Because I asked a few and got lots of denial. So
Yeah, they're with the Glenside stuff at the warehouse.
yeah, because nobody would claim them afterwards. So
Are you talking about Frank or are you talking about those program pack things?
the program pack.
Yeah, the program pack cutouts. It may have been Tim, and then he just gave them.
He donated them type thing. Yeah, might have been.
Well, he wouldn't have been able to bring them on the airplane.
Right.
Yeah.
Not unless they folded.
And there was no
they
fold
didn't.
marks.
Hmm.
So
Well, maybe it was Charmark. That's the portable CoCo. Oh, Boat and Aaron brought them.
okay.
Okay, there you go.
Ah,
Wait,
Thank
if
you, Frank.
you guys want them back, they're at the VCF warehouse.
yes.
I think we need to keep them there as an enticement for them to make sure they come back to the next show.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
I think it's cool that Brennan's daughter comes with them every year. It's kind of fun because 5 years ago she was this tall and now she's this tall. So-
Yeah, I think all his family comes. It's just that she's the only one that comes into the show.
Oh, okay.
And as an active part of the booth. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know that at Tandy Assembly they were all there, but his wife and his other daughter didn't. They only came in once or twice, and that was it.
Well, there was only those two at dinner, so
Yeah.
Oh, Frank's saying about those program pack things. He said Aaron's brother, which is Brent, or the Brent as he's known at ARG, works at a print shop, which he does, and he made them. So
Does he work at the print shop?
no, there's a local one in Hurricane.
Hurricane, yeah.
And here's where the streams crossed in the two podcasts that have parlaying back and forth with some of the gaming stuff here and generally commenting each other's videos constantly. So they finally got to meet in person.
Yeah,
So
that's
Taylor
a
and
cool
Amy show
pick.
and Sibling Rivalry both.
That's a real cool pick there.
Or they're karaokeing, I can't tell.
Look at that.
I think that's the game where you try to buy things from Ron's garage.
Yeah.
And here is Aaron trying out Warp Factor 3D with the real 3D glasses on. So I lent him the glasses for that.
Hey, there you go.
There's the furniture again.
That's the inspiration for Nightmare Highway or the other way around. I can't remember.
I think it's the other way around. We, like I said earlier, we were packing up on Sunday, and I went over there. So I got to get a picture of that, and he goes walking up like, "No, I'm your picture with those. You're
So
the
I'm
guy
curious,
that wrote
'cause
the game with
somebody-
furniture."
Somebody did mention, Jason, that they saw one of these being packed into somebody's car. That wasn't you and Ken, though. So I'm wondering who did
It was
that.
not. It was not.
That's David Krager.
It sure is.
That's the networking gods.
And Ken.
Ken photobombing the networking gods. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, if you want to go back one, just so we can mention who everybody is. So that's Rick Euland, obviously on the left. That's Brett Gordon on the middle, and Henry Strickland. Is that his name?
Henry Strickland. Yep.
Okay. On the right, and they were doing all kinds of stuff that just blew my mind.
And Henry had coffee.
Yes, I thanked him several times.
But we didn't quite get to the point of streaming the coffee maker on the network, which was, I think, the goal.
Yeah, that was one of your ultimate goals.
That's a stretch goal now. Next year.
Like X Coffee, except
I'm kind of glad you didn't, because you would just see me there like the whole show. You'd think I'd never left. There's a president of the Glenside Computer Club, Jim Brain, also of Retro Innovations. And Jason.
Yep.
John Mark Mobley.
Another picture of that.
Call them that.
There's the wireless
Not very
CoCos, if you
personal.
guys have had not
And
seen
then-
those
Mark?
before.
And that's Charlie, right?
Yep. Charlie with Charmark.
Porter Coco.
By the
was it?
way, the father goes by the handle Flutterball on our CoCo Discord.
Okay. That's the problem. I
that-
have a hard time putting all the the faces with all the handles.
and the
Yeah, I'm totally lost on. That's why I don't use handles. I haven't used them since CB Chat on CompuServe in the 80s.
I don't call it handles. I don't call mine a handle. I call it branding.
You should handle your branding better.
Oh, ouch!
I can be lame all week, folks.
Yeah, it's true. There's a couple of people I only know by their handles, like Deke and Sloopy. You know, I'm hard pressed to remember their actual names.
Branding with a soldering iron.
Yeah, that's me and my hair. That's it's like a tattoo.
So jam session.
Oh, and this was during the Nightmare Highway song.
Yep.
Oh, and there's the wedding party.
That's an awesome picture. I still love that. That I'll remember for the rest of my life. I was actually going to say we should put this on the Glenside page and just say this is the now dress code for all CoCoFest from now on.
Yeah.
You have to wear matching silver suits.
Oh, we all dress up looking like we work for Radio Shack.
If we had tinfoil hats, it would finish it off.
The second one. That's Rick's display, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Nice shot of the room. It was a nice sized room.
Yep.
Yeah, that's only.
It was
half of
amazing how full it looked on Saturday. Like when we had 130 people going through, it actually looked pretty full when the seminars weren't on.
It did. It looked really full. I was impressed.
Yeah, so this is basically standing by the coffee machine. So that's one half of the room, and then that's the other half.
Yeah, it looked a bit thinned out a little bit once the seminars are on, because some seminars were getting 10 by 30 to 4 people at the auction, for example. But before the seminar started, it looked like a really good, nice full room where people
And during the auction in particular, it's like I said before, I didn't go to the auction, so I hung out in the dealer room here, and it was pretty sparse. But I mean, but yeah, usually it looked really full.
I mean, there were times when it was quicker to go behind the tables than down the front to get across the room.
Yeah, there was a couple of times I had to wait in line to get up to a certain booth or something. That's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
Red and Ron.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
I think Ron was giving him tips on how to grow a magnificent
Oh yeah,
beard.
that's me. Oh, there we are. Okay. These are some of the ones I took, I think. And I didn't post all of them, just a few of them.
There you go. A new cart.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, as you notice here, my hair's on fire again too. I'm just keeping it clean.
It is smoking, at least. Maybe it's smoldering.
That seems to be a recurring theme with you, Curtis.
Yeah, it's more of a lifestyle, I think, at this point.
It's a style. It's a style issue.
Reminds me, I need to get my hair cut. It's getting too messy and too long.
Oh, sure, Fred. Rub it in.
There's Jeff/Deke.
Yep. Oh, is that his real name?
Yeah.
I've heard it. I've heard his real name before. I just can never remember it. Oh yeah,
I give his real name when I do credits for DCC and stuff in the OU and the documentation. So.
There's me and Boise. I had a good conversation with Boise. I talked to him about the origin of his last name and where his family's from, and that was pretty cool.
Oh, is that when they're flying out from Frisco, or is that in O'Hare?
Like the airport.
Or not Frisco, sorry.
That's too nice for O'Hare.
Too nice for O'Hare. What, because it has paint?
Yeah. Although amazingly, when I was leaving, so you think Monday midday would be really busy. There's no line at the check-in and no line at the TSA.
Oh wow!
I don't think I've ever seen that. I was starting to wonder if I was in the right airport.
Yeah, I found the same thing. Like the security line at Salt Lake Airport to go to Chicago was really long, but coming back, there was no line at all at the security in Chicago's O'Hare coming back. It was nice.
I really like this picture because it's showing that we're getting young people to come out that are actually interested in this kind of stuff. We had several of them, so that's a really good thing, and I hope that trend continues.
In fact,
we're gonna need the new blood.
I was seeing, of course, in the hotel at the same time was a contingent of hockey players, youth hockey players.
Yeah. Yes,
they were looking in the door too.
Geez, if they had hockey sticks, they should have joined us Canadians. We could have had a game of shinny right on the floor.
I think they were.
Yeah.
They did.
If the snow had kept coming down, eventually you could have.
I mean, Ken and I had lots of snow. We could have brought it down with us. We could have just filled the whole place.
So at one point it was snowing on Saturday, like around noontime or so. Yeah.
There's a rare picture. A youngster with a CoCo.
Is that Jay Cyril's farming game, Mark? Or is that Alcaron or something? Mark Overholt?
Alcaron to me. I was kind of watching Alcaron from a distance. It looks like that's what it is.
Because I know Jay did a perspective game like that for that farming game, fruit growing game. I can't remember the name of it. It's off the top of my head. It's on my site. There's Boat there, and I can't remember who's the guy in the middle. He introduced himself to me, and I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Apologize to him.
Vince looked funny on that computer.
There he is again.
I assume the ones who's taking these pictures here, but why am I blanking his name? Probably lack of sleep.
Yeah, I remember I think he's someone on the Discord.
Yeah.
There was dinner.
Yeah, with Chris Hawks up in the front there. So I think it's Tony in the red hat.
Yeah.
No, that was one end of the restaurant anyway.
That's the other end.
Oh, there's the other end.
Tony was able to hook me up with a meal for my son when he came because somebody said that they couldn't make it and give the meal to someone who could use it. And I thought that was really nice of him to do that for him.
Jason, John, and Ron.
The three amigos.
Yeah.
See.
And there's that shirt. Look at.
And for some reason, I don't have controls anymore.
It's
like my arrow to select the next picture isn't there anymore. So
is that the last picture?
Let me look. Yes, it is the last picture.
That's why.
That would be why. But yeah, there's more pictures that people haven't submitted. You had a chance to submit yet, so we'll probably follow up some even more over the next week or two as people kind of get settled and get.
That's just what I harvested off of Discord.
Look at.
Ooh, look at that background. What is that? It's green.
Quick, check all the shortcuts.
Why can't I click on any of these?
What was that one that I just saw there?
Something kind of looked like NVIDIA of some sort.
No, that one shortcut said something hub.
Oh. Did it begin with a P or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Polka Hub. That's great for accordion aficionados.
So,
all right.
Well, we get Weird Al to come down for a keynote and sing, White Nerdy or whatever type thing like that.
So, hey, do we want to run our first commercial and jump in the game on, or?
Sure.
I think that's about it.
It's only been 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, maybe we should take a break.
No news today, folks. I'll save it for next week. I didn't have time to even look to amalgamate anything. So
I've got all my cool stuff that I got.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, the stuff that I got at CoCoFest, I'm still sorting through and such. But after I left CoCoFest, I met up with someone south of Indianapolis and got a few things from them if people want to see them.
Also, isn't the Randy Kindig's Indianapolis show, his retro show, going on this weekend?
Yeah, the Indie Classic that's going on right now. And it's pretty popular. Quite a few people there. I've seen a few pictures. So
somebody's supposed to be there going to that. Who is it? Damon Beals, I think.
Jim.
Yeah, it was on Discord thinking he would, if he could, check in with us.
Yeah, Damon.
That'd be cool if he could.
Yeah, he is there.
Okay.
He is there. I saw a picture that mentioned him.
And for those who don't know, Randy Kindig, I think, does the Antic podcast. He also does the Floppy Days. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is when we had him on a guest on the show because of Floppy Days, because he's interviewed a lot of pretty interesting people on that.
So anyway, we really, really, really need to take a commercial break right about now.
Okay.
Do it.
The CoCo Nation Show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own, and not necessarily those of the CoCo Nation Show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds are encouraged, and a sense of humor is recommended. Thank you for being a part of the CoCo Nation.
The CoCo Nation Show would like to thank the following patrons: Alex Gayer, Brendan Donahue, Brian Walsh, Brian Weasler, Kieran Anscombe, Daddy Burrito, Diego BF109, Dinty's Hideaway, Don Barber, Eric Canales, Glenn Hewlett, Grant Leedy, John Boat of Carshaller, Henry Strickland, Justin Larson, Ken Reichard, Mike Rayburn, Patrick Euland, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, R. Allen Murphy, Retro Tech Time, Rob Inman, Rocky Hill, Steve Batson, Terry Steege, Tom C., Tom Gunderson, Tom S., Tony C., and William Athing. Thank you so much, patrons. Okay. And we are back. So, Sloopy, you want to show what you got?
Sure. Yeah, I met up with someone in the Macintosh Apple community that I got a bunch of stuff that you can have, and I'm like, sure, okay. I'm sure I could find good homes for it. This is stuff that I got after CoCoFest. Next week I'll have to show the stuff that I got from CoCoFest. But the first thing up is this.
A leather case.
Yes. With one of these things in it.
I thought you just got rid of two of those.
I did.
Came back with one.
Yeah. And this one looks really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it
yellowing
works.
is not, and it works.
Yeah, it's actually not that yellow. It looks more yellow on the screen. But yeah, it actually works. So, and it also came with the original Tandy power plug.
Cool.
So
no batteries for you.
Yeah, it actually it came with batteries included. And not only did I get that, but I also got this bag that said $35 on it, but I got it for free. And what this is a data pack. Now, this is basically what happens is it goes on the back of the machine and then plugs into the system bus.
Oh, okay.
This specific one is for a model 200, which unfortunately I only have two model 100s. But from what I understand, the system bus is the same. It's just that on the 100, it's the dip, 40-pin dip, and on the 200, it's the IDC. And
yeah, because that 40-pin dip was real touchy.
Yeah, and if you convert the connections, you can connect this to a 100 and it will work. And I also got the ROM plug-in pack for it, and it's a 256K data pack that stores it just like the disk drive does. And hopefully I'll be able to show that off soon. And also, I got one of these old things.
Oh.
Ooh, Model 1.
Yes, I didn't get the power supply, but I did get the monitor. And it's pretty dirty. From what I understand, the machine works, the monitor does not. But this is my first Model 1, and I don't know, you can't really see it too well, but it's not clean, and it did not come with anything except for this for the system expansion. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it just yet.
You got 4K.
Yes. I also got a stack of books for the Model 100 and for the Model 1 that's about I'd say about 35 centimeters tall. It's about 13, 14 inches for you Americans. And then I also got, I won't mention that Commodore 64 I got. But
you can talk about doorstops all you want.
I did also get a big white box.
Nice.
Anything in it there?
And the big white box contains a big white CoCo.
CoCo 2.
60K extended color basic. Full travel 58 key keyboard.
53.
And it works. And
it's 64K or 16? Didn't catch that.
16K.
16K.
And when you put one of these in, it says, hey, it's good.
Excellent.
And that was on my trip home from CoCo Fest. There was a couple Amiga magazines in there also. Trying to think what else was there. I think that was pretty much it. So
okay. Let's see. Rick, I had you on my list for things to show and tell.
I already shoved it in earlier, so.
Oh, okay. So Sloopy, you ready for the game on? Or is there anyone else that had anything to show?
Next week, next week I'll share the stuff I got at CoCo Fest.
Okay. Are you ready for the game on?
No, but I guess I don't have any choice.
Do it anyway.
Okay. Let's see if I can hit the right button here since we're a little out of order today.
All right. Let's share my screen. And let's see here. There we go. The game on challenge 161. We played Tea Time by Adrian Edelston and Stephen Edelston McGrath. We had 13 participants. And at 13, we had Mark B with a score of 260.
I don't even remember playing it.
Hey, I think you posted it last week.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we had Exile and Pair of Dice with a score of 300. Then we had Rich N, who actually broke the 1,000-point mark, with a score of 4,360. Then Jim Rye with 4,800. 9, we have Ed Rhodes with 5,520. 8, Coconut Bob with 5,860. 7, Damon Beals with 6040. 6, some random Canadian, I think his name's Ken or something, with 6360. 5, we have Mr. Dave 6309 with 6820. And Shenley with 6820 also. 3, we had that guy that doesn't burn his hair when using a soldering iron with 7220. And in second place, we had Kieran, who, if memory serves me, I do believe he recommended this game with 13,640, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. And the number one Tea Time teetotaler is a Basement with 15,220. Any coincidence between real life and this game is purely coincidental, and any scores that were missed were entirely my fault and not the fault of the CoCo Nation Challenge Council. So thank you for playing.
So Mark B, how does it feel to have your score beaten by almost 15,000 points?
Yeah.
Normal.
Okay.
Normal, right?
Yeah,
That's usual.
Normal place.
So what kind of unfortunately I wasn't able to really research the game very much because I had VCF East the weekend before, this past weekend, CoCo Fest, and literally I only got things to some semblance of order where I can actually do something around here about Thursday, which was just in time for me to do the Game On Challenge live. So I just know that it was made by 2 people. And
you can't get any more British than that game.
Yeah, that's definitely about the best I can offer for gameplay tips is don't get hit by the hammer and stay in the top corners.
By the way, guys, I'm actually gonna have to take off.
Okay.
Got stuff to do today, so a nice chatting with you, and I'll see you again soon.
Later, Fred.
See ya.
Later, Fred.
I mean, my yard needs to be mowed, but it's going to stay there.
It's still grow.
We just melted all of our snow off from our storm here, so I don't have much yard work to do for a bit.
I cut the grass last week, so I'm good there. But we had rain last few days, so it's going to need to be cut again soon.
As far as Tea Time goes, I didn't get a chance to play it for the official Game On Challenger because, like you, Sleepy, I was busy getting ready stuff for CoCoFest, etc., and replanning driving routes. But it's a fun game. I know the person that released it has actually released it as legally free to download, so there's not even a problem with that. I don't remember too many. It's been a while since I played it, but I can't really remember any tips per se, except to make sure you empty it out once in a while instead of waiting too long. on the first level when you're trying to fill the teapot.
Yeah, because you don't once your pot that you're carrying around, once it gits full, you
can't accumulate anymore. Yeah, so you're wasting your time basically.
So one thing I did notice is that if you are close to finishing a round, just hitting a sponge so that your pot, like if you only have 2 or 3 drops left and you've got a bunch coming towards you, hit the sponge so that it empties your teapot, and then grab the 1 or 2 instead of taking it all the way down to the big pot. So you don't have to like go around the hammer and such. That's one thing, which I did a couple times, which kind of helped. But I mean, obviously your score is going to be higher if you go and drop it into the big carafe. But
and I'm trying to remember the second and third levels. The second one's where you're kind of dodging and things are trying to hit you, right? And the third levels are the platforms where you have to go across.
Yeah, the dodging it seemed to be completely random whether you'd get enough space to even get through. Because I know that on a few of them it was like they'd be all the way across and there'd be no way that you'd be able to get through them.
Yeah. So fairly random.
Yeah. And then the third level, it was difficult for jumping from platform to platform because you had to be perfectly
dead lined up, if I remember correctly, to get it to work. Otherwise you just kept riding the elevator.
Yeah, and it was strange the way you had to like use the joystick to select the direction you wanted to jump and then hit the button to jump. Because if you were facing the wrong direction and hit the button, it would jump you the wrong way. So it was an interesting mechanic for that, to say the least.
Yeah, and I was hoping that Karen would be in the chat for this because I don't know too much of the history of the game except the author authorized it being downloaded. But was this a cross-platform or was this strictly a Dragon game?
That I don't know.
It seems quirky enough for the UK market that I could definitely see it being ported to other platforms, or maybe it's ported to the Dragon from another platform, but I don't know for sure. And I had no time to research it, so I'm just wondering if Karen was in the chat, he could have maybe answered that.
Yeah.
Or any other European friends that are familiar with the game, if they've maybe seen it on a different platform as well.
Yeah, see what Ken does to me. He comes up with these strange games and then says, "Oh, it's your turn."
I remember having fun with it. Like it was unique. It was like the whole premise is like nobody in North America would ever think of doing a game like that. Period.
Yeah.
But some of the gameplay was a little bit unique, like having to gather up all the teardrop stuff and then quickly fill it in the pot and run back out. Like that's a gameplay mechanic I haven't really seen before.
Yeah, the actual mechanics of the game were original and interesting. It was just some of the more finer.
It had a quirkiness to it. That was probably my favorite part. Like this is not something you'll see. It's like Outhouse. That game was made in a couple platforms, sure, but it's never been remade again type thing. Except I think for Erico, it did one decades later. But it's a unique piece of gaming history that it was quirky enough that it never got duplicated.
Yeah, I think with a few detail tweaks in the controls and the random number, the randomness of things, it would be a quite enjoyable action type game.
Yeah, it was fun when I played it. Like when I did the initial web page, I think for it, it was the first time I'd really played it. I'd seen it before, and hadn't really known what I was doing, and then I kind of read the instructions off of the World of Dragon archive, and then found out that some things I was trying were completely wrong. And then once I actually kind of got a handle on what you're supposed to do at each level, then it became a much more fun game.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say it was a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. It was pretty enjoyable, and for something completely different.
To quote Monty Python. So that is a game. If anybody out in the listening and viewing audience has never tried it, either on a Dragon or a CoCo, I would recommend you give it a shot.
Yes, absolutely.
But read the directions on the archive because there's some stuff that's not as obvious, but not hard. It's just it's just not obvious.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend playing with a joystick. Even a digital joystick would work. It works well with it. Keyboard not so much because diagonals are definitely needed.
Yep.
So, but
okay, well, I think that's enough for that one. Now the second game that has been ongoing Which one is that? I don't even know off the top of my head.
Cosmic Sweeper.
Roger Smith from T&D.
Yes. That one.
A 3D game, if I remember correctly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not glass 3D, but 3D perspective.
Yeah. It reminds me a bit of Star Raiders, where it's more of the action side of Star Raiders as opposed to the strategy side. And definitely is a good, let's just say, homage to Star Raiders, and definitely worth a good play.
Okay.
It takes a little bit of getting used to how you can how you either shoot or avoid the asteroids, but it's definitely a game worth playing.
Okay, so that goes on for another week.
Yes, it does.
So get your scoring and your submissions, and you, of course, you'll have it on the Game On Live challenge on date time, please, Sleepy. My brain's still mush.
Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Please bring a friend, bring your CoCo. If you don't have your CoCo handy, you can even play in an emulator. We don't judge.
Yep, and even online emulator. If you don't want to install some software, you can actually go to the online emulator that's available from Kieran and just play it in your browser.
Absolutely.
Now, I talked to Ken when he was here picking up stuff here that he has to ship. And he was mentioning, I asked him specifically, I said, what's the game for next week? And he says, I'm letting Sleepy handle that. So a shudder went down my spine, but I have to ask, what is the game for next week?
Well, I was thinking about doing the original Model 1 version of Neutroid.
No, Ken and I literally nixed that even, when we were talking. Okay? No more Neutroid crap.
Well, then when Nick's done his next version of Neutroid, you better not put me in charge.
Yeah, we won't.
So, Nick, you have until next CoCo Fest to have it ready, because Ken won't be around to veto it.
I have started it. I can show it later on in the game news.
No, that's enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show it now then.
Well, there's no game news this week, so we're safe.
There's no news at all, except for the CoCoFest Wrapup.
This is the Game On section, so we can do that if you want, but
you finish talking and I'll get something ready.
Okay. So
don't listen to the mark.
Are we ready for next week's game?
Yes, I'm kind of curious what you pick, because Ken was kind of worried. I mean, curious about it too. So
what?
Pick the game and then end the show quickly before Nick has time to show his thing.
Yeah, you got it.
When have I ever
here comes. No.
When have I ever picked a bad game?
We're playing Disc Extended Color Basic. That's awesome.
Yes. And let's see here. What disc has been... Ooh. This
wow. I've never played AutoExec.Bass.
This is actually the if you went to CoCo Fest, you got a nice envelope. And
actually, that was a question. Like, Nick, I think you were away previously, but what is there anything different with the one that was released at the fest, or is it just your standard?
It's just the standard one that you can download for free.
Okay.
Yes, this is the one that was included in the SD card at CoCo Fest.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yes, a virtual vendor gave away physical objects.
Yes.
I gotta find out what size that SD card is so I can use it for other things.
It's 64 megabytes. It's 64 megabytes.
It's Pac-Man Extra Difficult Edition.
It's like, where did you guys find the 64 meg cards?
Is that what size they are?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know that. I haven't had a chance to look at it. I just got back last night, so
yeah. And
that can't even fit EOU.
Yep. So surprise, Nick. It is a game of yours.
There you go.
So that will be.
It's not Neutroid.
That will be the game for the next 2 weeks. And I
have to say, this is a really good version of Pac-Man. I'm not just doing this to be nice to Nick for a change.
I'm pretty sure I actually paid real money. For
I was going to say I am actually one of the legitimate purchasers of this game when it went for sale, and it was one of the most impressive ones. And clean room coding too. This is not a transcode of the original arcade, so the pattern stuff for the Ghost will be different, though similar in intent. But original programming for the Ghost stuff, but with all the soundtracks, the intermissions, bonus fruits, everything else. It's a really well done version. And you wrote this about 97, Nick? I think you were selling it by the 98 Fest or something.
It was at Penn Fest 90. Yeah, so I finished at 97. It was at Penn.
Because I bought it at CoCo Fest or Rainbow Fest, actually. No, CoCo Fest in 98.
Yes.
And because of all the wonderful comments and such that I got about Neutroid and people worried about what I was going to select this time, I will make sure that I choose something great the next time I have to pick a game.
Keep hitting R.
Oh, by the way, Nick, I'll mention I talked to Ken about the other project you're thinking of, and he's definitely with me on that. That should be done first. And I won't say any more because I don't know how much you want to talk about that. But
I can talk a little. Well, I won't say what it is because I don't know if I can finish it yet. So
yeah,
but this one I can. So I can quickly show. Want me to start about the Neutroid?
Yes.
No, that's fine.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That can wait till 2024. That's good.
Insist.
Good night, everybody. End the show quickly.
I've decided to, as a second game at the same time, I wanted to redo Neutroid for the CoCo since I get so much flack from certain people who just can't comprehend.
Everybody but Sloopy, Nick. That's who you're talking about.
That's right. So Sloopy's the only intelligent one, obviously. So, but there is some. I do agree to a point. The Neutroid on the CoCo that I did was not really a direct port of what the Model 1 original was,
which is a good game. You did that one right.
It's a better game. It's a better game. It was more close to my original vision of what Neutroid was to be. But when I went from the Model 1 to the CoCo, my first game was to do a Neutroid, but because it was a new CPU, first time I used graphics with color, I didn't want to do anything too over the top. So I did change it to simplify it in areas, which in hindsight, it's not as good as the original from a game point of view. So I've decided I'm going to play and do it justice and redo Neutroid yet again. This time it'll be a CoCo version for all CoCos, CoCo 1, 2, and 3. So
yeah, you're kind of milking it at this point, Nick, I think.
Yeah. So I decided to call it, and I'll hit the button. Can you see the shared screen?
If it says RGB and CMP, then yes.
So I will hit RGB when I get my keyboard in. There we are. Oh, no, let me just restart again. Ignore the text at the top. I just screwed that up. Ooh. So it's going to be called Neutroid Reloaded. So this will be more like, all I've got going at the moment is the title page and the high score page. And I'm about to start working on the game itself. But the game will be modeled more on the Model 1 version with a few extras. So I'm going to be adding to the game, but it will be modeled on the Model 1 version more.
May I ask you a technical question, Nick?
Yeah.
Are you actually using your original source code you did for the CoCo as a base and then changing it, or are you going right from scratch?
No, this is from scratch.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, the code I wrote back in 1984 was my first 6809 code. When I look at that code, I think, God, what the hell did I do that for? I could do that so much better.
So I was going to suggest if you did do that, then you could actually do live streams where you could actually see yourself swearing at yourself for what you did back as a youngster. And I thought that'd be excellent TV.
We've got David Ladd for that.
Oh, okay.
But I decided I'm going to do a decent version of my very first game idea. I think it was the first machine language game I did also on the TRS-80 Model 1.
Yeah, the other ones you did rather basic or basic and
They
emerald
were
hybrids
basic-
like
they were
Stellar
hybrids,
Odyssey
yeah.
and yeah.
But it was my first machine code Z80 game. So it became my first 6809 CoCo game. But learning as I went, of course. But this is it. This is reimagining sort of the CoCo version of Neutroid.
I think we've talked about this before. I always give you hell for the current Neutroid because it's not obvious to the player, except for Sloopy because his brain's warped. Certain aspects of the game. And when I went back and played the Model 1 version, it's not. It's very clear. And I think it's just that, like, the basic gameplay is fine. It's just that some of the nuances that you did in the Model 1 and 3 version, which aid the player in keeping track of what they're doing, kind of went missing because you were busy fiddling with color and stuff that you were new to and learning the CPU and everything else. So I think this will actually improve the game. Kidding aside,
it will be much better. And I am trying to make it as easy to pick up as I can because listening to all the feedback, which I do agree to a point.
Feedback in air quotes. I can just see them going.
Yeah, no, I agree with some of those. But back in the day when I was a young guy and I actually had some reflexes, I had no problem. But nowadays I play it and it's a bit hard for me even though I've made a joystick revision of that old Neutroid for the color computer. It's still, I look at it and I think, oh, gee, I should have done this. I should have done that. I could have done this to simplify this and that. And it just got to the point where I got sick of listening to Curtis. I said, that's it, bugger it. I will fix it up.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, Nick, I mean, you were sick of listening to me way before we talked about Neutroid. But
that's true. That's right. Yeah, I was whinging about OS9. And look where that got us.
Yeah, you got created from that.
Yeah.
So this is tit for tat. You whined about stuff I did, and I finally fixed it. Now the shoes on the other foot. We're passing it back and forth.
That's right. So I whined, and then you fixed. Now you whined, and now I
for those of you who've heard the saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. We're just a live demonstration of that.
That's right.
Basically.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've got running at the moment, and I'm about to start the game. As for the other game that you're talking about, there is another game I'm going to be doing for the CoCo 3, which is going to be, I'll say is a good game. It'll be a great game if I get it going. It's a game that I haven't, it has a few things in it that I haven't done before. So the reason why I don't want to say what it is yet is because I don't know if I can still do it yet. But it's also a game actually I don't really like. It's not really a genre, a style of game I like, but I know it is going to be a popular game.
Yeah.
So
it's one, I'll say this. Yeah. It's one we have several CoCo 1 and 2 examples of, none of which are great. There's one that's not bad on the play-wise, but there's never been a CoCo 3 version of this, and from seeing other platforms with graphics closer to the CoCo 3 level of capability, it's a game that can be quite excellent, and the CoCo is fully capable of making a quite excellent one. And if Nick can pull it off, then I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, the game involves a bit of math, and that's my weak point. So
yeah.
So it's a CoCo 3 version of color script set.
No math. It's spectacular.
That's way ahead. That's the future. That's what I'm striving for. So.
Spectacular first, then script set. You got to tackle these projects just one at a time.
All right. Anyway, that's all I've been doing.
I've been doing nothing but driving, so I have nothing else to report.
Ow.
Time to wake up, Mark.
Yep, I'm back.
You're back.
Be prepared for a gargantuan news week next week, though, because it's going to be like, what, 4 weeks or 3 weeks or a month? I've lost track of time.
Next week, pack a lunch for news and a pillow.
Yeah, there will be no Game On challenge, no updates, no nothing. It'll just be nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
It's Curtis News Network next week.
Yeah, and I promise to be awake for that one, too, unlike today.
Okay, you know what? I think we're ready for the outro. What do you think?
I think we are.
I think so. I think we'll probably have a little bit more CoCoFest next week, just because I think some people, like Jason, you mentioned you haven't transferred your pictures and stuff yet, so I'm sure we'll get a little bit more, but it won't be the whole show like today.
And Sloopy has a little bit more too.
Yeah.
I mean, we were still unpacking until like yesterday.
This CoCo isn't even hooked up. I just 10 minutes before the show, I piled everything up here. That's it. It's not even hooked up.
Mine's still laying in the living room, and I just unloaded the car last night. I didn't bother bringing stuff up.
Yeah,
I got my CoCo Nation sticker on my CoCo 3 lid, but nothing's hooked up.
Yeah, the stuff that I lay on down here is just covered with everything.
This concludes another episode of the CoCo Nation, the world's leading live interactive talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things the CoCo Nation, visit us on the web at thecoconation.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to show@thecoconation.com. The CoCo Nation Show would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. The CoCo Nation theme song, copyright 2022, D. Bruce Moore. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. The CoCo Nation is over. Join us on the CoCo Discord server. CoCo forever.
Okay, we are back.
Broke it.
I think you broke it.
Negative.
Push the button, Frank.
Bye, everyone.
See you all next week.
Later, folks.